What's going on? It ain't even 6 o'clock yet. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Thursday Night Football tonight on Amazon Prime. You got the Commanders and the Bears. You can listen to that game right here on 104.5 The Zone. Commanders looking to bounce back from an overtime loss to the Eagles, while the Bears try to overcome a deflating loss to the Broncos. Chase Claypool is expected to remain away from the team. Other than that, Commanders are relatively healthy. Titans made some roster moves yesterday, promoting tight end Kevin Rader from the team's practice squad to the team's 53-man roster. Also yesterday, Titans signed wide receiver Mason Kinsey back to the team's practice squad. Kinsey was waived from the team's active roster earlier in the week. Last year, Rader played in 14 games with 2 starts for the Titans. Titans actually had some positivity on their first injury report of the week from yesterday. While Traylon Burks and Tierra Tart did not practice, Peter Skoronski, Kyle Phillips, NPF all practiced fully. Elijah Molden was limited with a hamstring injury. And now to Indy, who's having a tough go of it with 8 players not practicing, including Mo Alley Cox, DeForest Buckner, Shaq Leonard, Quentin Nelson, Kwity Paye, and Bernard Raymond, all missing practice. And if you were curious, Hunks Baby Titans got their first win of the year last night, 31-28. So got to give Hunk credit where credit is due. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Off and running on a freshly brewed RKW. As always, we're brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. It is a gorgeous fall Thursday morning in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. And we've got a full crew ready to talk to you for the next 4 hours. That includes Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, our producer. My name is Will Bowling. Coach Dave McGinnis coming up in 20 minutes, bright and early with us. We've got a big discussion on college football after something Kirby Smart said that wasn't very smart. We'll get to that at 7:20 this morning. Q&K's inside the Tennessee Titans locker room and the Thursday 3 to make you money, which this week means you should just pick the opposite of what most of us pick. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. How are we?
Good, man. It's Thursday, Friday, Junior, whatever you guys want to call it. It's almost the weekend.
It is. This week flew by. I'm telling you.
It absolutely did.
I almost feel like you hit Wednesdays. It's a wrap anyway, for the most part.
Yeah, it flies by after that.
It does. And it's getting cooler outside. How many short pants days do we have left, you think?
I'm already into pants gear.
You're already into
because
pants.
I'm crazy like that.
Yeah.
But I would say another week and a half, 2 weeks.
About
most?
2 weeks.
Give me a month.
Another month?
Another month of shorts.
Early November?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I'm also, though, I'm a psycho of I love long sleeves and shorts.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite outfit combination. This time of year where you can wear a light jacket,
right,
but then just rock the shorts still.
That's always good until you're out at nighttime and then it gets cold on your legs.
Oh, that's great.
Right. Like,
Now that right there, and then that evening dew kind of sit in on you too when it's cold like that. That's the cool and worst thing about like doing like campfires.
Mm-hmm.
Is you start the fire, your back get cold because the seats pretty much, are kind of they're porous,
right?
And then your legs also, because you can put your feet up by the fire pit, but you also might get scalded a little bit. These are first world problems, but
these are first world problems.
They are first world problems.
All right.
I'll sit right there to burn I'll burn my back on some fire.
Straight up.
Well, not like literally, but I'll sit as close as I can.
The heat is there to be had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soak it in.
We are in a stretch, guys, after yesterday of 49 straight days with football.
I know.
American
heard that.
tackle football. 50 straight days starting yesterday. Maction is underway. What is Sunbeltion? Is that a thing? I don't know what else it's called in the middle of the week.
Fun Belt.
Well, yeah, I know Fun Belt, but I just mean like, if we're going to make it, if midweek means action in some way. Anyway, Fun Belt as well.
Mm-hmm.
Underway. Feels good. What a country we live in.
Yeah, it is. So what does that take us up to past Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I believe
That takes
so.
us past Thanksgiving.
50 days would be a month and a half, or a month and 2/3.
Yeah. Okay, all right, for sure. I was trying to think about it because after Black Friday, that next week, the college games are what leads.
Yeah, to pause it.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
But then at that point, you have NFL Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
and then the Egg Bowl is the next week, or which one of those like
Egg
classic
Bowl
games?
is Thanksgiving.
Friday.
Army Navy's the one that's later.
That's the
the
one.
latest
Yes,
one.
After
okay.
conference championships.
Yep, sure is. Wow, what a time! This is every
I know.
single day.
Mm-hmm.
Monday night, so Tuesday night action. Yep,
Yep.
that makes
Tu-
sense.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunbelt Maction. Thursday, NFL football. Friday, Pac-12, ACC, Big Ten. Saturday, everyone else. Sunday, NFL football.
Yeah.
Monday, NFL football.
Monday NFL. Right back to it, man.
I
This
know.
is this is Christmas for some people that either bet a whole lot or
That's
just
what I
want to
was gonna
watch the
say.
game.
If you're a bettor, you got you do have something to bet on every day of the
Yeah,
week.
you do.
There's other sports too.
Unless you're on the opposite
Correct.
side of that, a
I do.
loser.
Yeah, there you go.
You know,
There you go.
definitely.
A lot of primetime unders available ripe for the picking.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because I'm a sicko.
You just straight up, you know, huh?
'Cause I'm
That's-
Yeah, of course.
That's cool. That's all good, though, man. It is what it is. I'm here for it either way. At least we get something to look at on TV. Baseball, though, has been exciting to watch still.
I can't believe the wild cards were all just sweeps.
They were. Minnesota, congrats to them. That's big time.
Yeah.
I actually turned on the game yesterday and was like, is this real? And I forgot, like, they're playing these games throughout the day or the early portions of
Right.
the day. I actually clicked on the TV yesterday, and it was they're right there on there running out for the win. And the first time, people crying in the crowd
Yeah.
and everything.
Sonny Gray with the win. Vanny Boy.
Yeah.
Smyrna
Big
High School
time.
Bulldog.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray.
Heck of a career he's had.
I cannot wait to knock the Phillies into golfing season. It's going to hit so different.
Oh, baby.
I cannot wait. Zero fear whatsoever
Really?
for the Philadelphia Phillies baseball team. They got us last year with Max Fried and Spencer
Yeah.
Strider not totally healthy. Cannot say the same this time around, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Spencer Strider, who has an 8-0 record and a sub-2 ERA in his career against the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
Blooper greater than Fanatic. Matt Olson greater than Bryce Harper. I can't wait to send those second place frauds into the golfing season.
Told you.
It's
well,
going to be
it is
great.
going to be wild. I'll tell you that much. They're going to be loud. They're going to be very, very aggressive fans.
It'll already be a
on the
2-0
Philly
series
side.
by the time it gets there.
Yeah.
Saturday
Okay.
is the first game, right?
Saturday, Monday, then Wednesday.
There you go.
We're gonna see, Will. I love that you have a real hate for this type of stuff.
It's
right
my
here.
least favorite baseball team, the
It
Philadelphia
is.
Phillies.
I get that. I kind of want to hear it, man.
It's not the Mets. Phillies have done relevant things over the past 20 years. They've won a World Series since I've been alive.
Who's
so,
this? The Mets?
well, no, the Mets
Oh,
haven't.
The
I was
Phillies.
about to say.
Robert's going to defend Mrs. Met's honor here in a minute, but
Mrs. Met's booty.
Them hips.
that's what honor meant.
Them apple
She just
bottom
ain't got no
jeans.
business being looking like that. They ain't got no business trotting her out there like that.
That's very true, Robert. You're not lying on that
And
one,
that
man.
I think she wears. Does she wear a skirt?
No, she does not.
Oh, she
Is
doesn't?
it pants?
I don't think so.
Oh, too tight.
I mean, she's out here dragging a wagon. Is all I know.
Okay.
There's a man in that costume.
That better.
There's a
not
man
be.
in
Don't
that
say
costume.
That, Bird.
And they
Don't-
got him out there looking like that. It's just not fair.
Don't say that, man. Are you serious?
I'm guessing.
Oh.
I don't know many female mascot wearers.
All I know is if your team has not won a World Series in the last 2 years, then please do not text. I don't expect to get any texts.
Wait,
Unless
Ramon's texting.
from Astros fans.
No, I'm not texting at all. I'm actually over here trying to reset my password
Oh,
so
I
I
thought
can
you were
get
looking
into
at
my
Mrs.
doggone
Matt.
email. No.
Justin in the
absolutely
F&M Bank chat says Braves aren't clutch at all. They're pretty clutch in Game 6 in Houston to hoist a trophy the Phillies haven't hoisted in a decade.
What a sick burn.
It's the one sport where I can claim the win a ring bozo comeback. It's
Hill
really
Will
fun.
is what we'll call you, man. Hill
Hill
Will.
Will.
Yeah,
Hill.
Hill Will.
Hill.
I like this version of him, though. It's
Hill
always
Will.
good for the morning. You went and got some coffee this morning, too, huh?
Yeah, from the room across the hall.
Wait,
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, wait. Do we not have the grinder? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, we do?
It's back there.
Oh, we do.
It's
Okay.
back there. Yeah, I ended up making some this morning. I need some bad, too.
Yeah.
And this has been the only coffee I can drink without no cream. I've been drinking it without no cream
really?
and sugar. Yeah, absolutely
good
none.
sign.
Straight black out here,
The
man.
Guatemalan blend from 8th and Roast. We highly recommend it. We have gone through a bag of beans in a very short amount of time. That is how much we love this stuff.
We
Highly
got,
recommend it.
we got bags, and we've already spent them.
We had
Somebody
bags.
balling.
We had a
Somebody
bag.
balling.
We had a bag?
Yes.
We'll get more, though.
fair.
That's the promise of it all right there.
Absolutely.
Get more.
Yeah.
615-737-1045, the number this morning. Robert mentioned it in the update. Titans get maybe a better injury report than the Colts did. Almost said the Phillies. That's how much you guys got me going on them this morning. Than the Colts did. Concussion protocol for Ryan Kelly and Bernard Ryman. Two starting offensive linemen. Ryman, the offensive lineman for the Indianapolis Colts. For the Titans, Traylon Burks did not practice. Neither did Luke Gifford, nor did T.R. Tart. Elijah Molden was limited. And full participants included Nicholas Petit-Frere, Kyle Phillips, Peter Skronsky. Hey.
Hey.
Let's
And
go.
Josh Wiley.
That's great, too.
DeAndre Hopkins not even on the injury report, nor was Derrick Henry.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Good. There we go, man. Very interesting in seeing how Peter and NPF looked. Heard they worked side by side yesterday with each other, man. I really do wonder how this is all going to shake out, and we'll see how long or short leashes are when it comes down to play between anybody on the offensive line. We suspect that NPF and, of course, Pete, and now I got to throw Radens in there because it's Peter Skoronsky's spot.
Right.
But watching how fragile or short the leash will be on guys that have bad games. And bad games happen, too. This isn't a situation to where you're willingly looking to change spots, but NPF adds a different flair to it. I'll say that, man.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, glad to have him back. It was good to talk with him in the locker room. He seemed to have been just as surprised as we were when he got the notification on X that he was going to be reinstated. That's how he found out.
Is it really?
Like all the rest of us.
Wow.
And I think he had some good things to say just in terms of, you know what, I have to work my way back in. I've got to reacclimate with the group. I've got to get that chemistry with those guys because I haven't been here. And the best part about it, though, like Ramon was saying, there's now even more depth with Radens and PF now that if there is a situation where things start to go in the wrong direction, you have a little bit of wiggle room with those guys now.
You do. And that's a good place to be as a coach and as a team, too. I know this much. Having two offensive linemen be down in Indy, they need to go up there and just smack them.
Well, more than two also.
Well, yeah.
Those are just the guys in concussion protocol. Quentin Nelson didn't practice yesterday either.
Oh, my goodness.
Ryman, who's been decent to start the season for a change. He was not decent last year. He was sub-decent. He was bad at left tackle. So he's been decent this year. Mo Alley Cox to Forrest Buckner, both non-participants as well at practice. Shaq Leonard, non-participant. Tyquan Lewis, Quiddy Pay, Bernard Ryman, all non-participants. Ryan Kelly did practice, but according to Shane Steichen, is still in concussion protocol. And Jonathan Taylor was a full participant as well. We'll get into more info on his relationship with the Colts that has magically improved as well coming up here in hour one after we talk with Titans Radio's head coach, the one and only. Coach Dave McGinnis is coming up next. Bright and early, we get the scouting report on those Colts who haven't beaten the Titans at home in 5 years. Coach Mack, I just had to let that marinate.
I like that.
Coach Mack joins us
Sounds
coming
good.
up next. Thursday morning at RKW, rolling right along in hour number one. We are brewed by 8th and Roast with 3 locations on 8th Avenue, Charlotte, and the airport. 8th and Roast Coffee cultivates community by the cup. As we are joined by Coach Dave McGinnis every Thursday morning right here on the show, presented by Two Rivers Ford, Middle Tennessee's most trusted local Ford dealership for 40 years. Good morning, Coach Mac.
Morning, guys. It smells like good coffee in here. Y'all got your coffee cups, and everybody's got it going on in here. That's nice. Nice.
Have you tasted this coffee yet? You don't drink coffee, do you?
8th and Roast. I do, but mostly, do they have cold brew there?
They do.
Yeah.
Well, then bring me a gallon.
Yeah. Let's do this.
We can do that.
Coach Matt get right to it. He said,
Right?
bring me a gallon.
Yeah, just bring me a gallon of it. There's no reason. I mean, I'm sure it's good. This coffee smells great.
One thing I
Guatemalan blend that we've
Yeah.
got.
It is. One thing I have noticed about you, Mac, whenever we would go somewhere and have a sit down, you get an iced coffee. That is, I mean, iced tea. That takes no wrapper
Well,
involved
that's
in
Texas.
That. Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. Like, that's a Texas thing right there.
That's Texas. I'm going to have a problem in London because you've got to ask for ice, and then they look at you like you got 3 heads. Because
that's right.
you don't get ice over there.
Their tea ain't the southern kind that you like.
Unless you. Yeah, and plus, me talking West Texan to them, that goes really good over there. It's fun.
I bet it is.
It's fun.
I love it.
I had to
Coach Mac.
realize that fruit tea is not something that is everywhere. The other day, talking to my girlfriend, she was like, "What do you mean fruit tea?" I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what? It's fruit tea. It's great. It's like every meat and 3 in the South has got some kind of iteration of fruit tea you can get on the side."
Well, I mean, you got to adapt. We'll be okay.
We'll
Overcome.
be all right.
Adapt and
We'll
overcome.
be way okay, believe me.
Titans have been really okay playing in Indianapolis last 4 years. They're 4-0 in Lucas Oil Stadium. You've been in that environment a lot, Coach Mac. Just how significant is that? Just the ownership the Titans have had over an AFC South rival away from home these past 4 years.
Well, it's nice to have, but it doesn't matter this year. I mean, year to year to year, that doesn't matter because for a while there, when I was coaching here, I mean, we were pretty much back and forth, and then Peyton, it was a problem. And then, of course, when Andrew Luck came in there, he had it all over the Titans. So it's a year-to-year type thing. But going up there is big because, I mean, everybody knows this, and all of our listeners are sophisticated enough to know you go up there for a division game and you win, that's stealing a game. And it's like winning 2. So you want to hold serve on their home court is what you want to do. That's the importance of it. Now, they'll probably have that place open because they always open it up when we go up there. I mean, for some reason, that'll be opened up up there. So whatever the weather is, you're going to be experiencing that, which it's not a big deal, but it's something to be ready for. So it's an indoor place, but they've got a huge roof, and they open those windows too on the back end. It's open. So anyway. Yeah. But just to be able to take a solid game up there, I think is what the Titans are looking to do. Just take a solid game up there because the biggest thing always has been to me, I've coached 16 games up there in the 8 years I was coaching, and then I've been, however long I've been doing this, 7 or 8 years. Turnovers are huge up there because it's a loud environment. I mean, they are loud. So turnovers is a huge part of this game normally.
Coach Mack, how does Shane Steichen's offense with Anthony Richardson resemble or look different from what he was running as the offensive coordinator for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia?
Not a lot. He's got a generational talent back there in this young quarterback, and so and plus he's very, very young, and so but he's adapted this thing. The Titans defense is going to have to be able to play the scheduled runs for this quarterback and the unscheduled runs. You got scheduled runs, you're going to have to +1 it. However they decide to +1 it, whether it's out of the back end or the second level, you're going to have to +1 because you're playing option football is basically what you're doing when the quarterback is the primary ball carrier. And then, you talk about being able to pressure him, and you've got to pressure him, but you can't let him get to the perimeter because he can outrun everybody on the field. That's just fact. He can outrun everybody on the field, and then when he starts moving around back there, when you got Michael Pittman, you got Pierce, you got Josh Downs, and once he starts moving, you're going to have to plaster coverage in the back end. They're going to have to work plaster coverage. So you're going to +1 and plaster against this guy, which is going to be huge. So it's going to be, you got to be very, very disciplined against this type of offense. I mean, it's a little bit like what you do when you play Lamar Jackson too, and you've got to be disciplined, because if you're not gap sound, I mean, he can turn something that looks really good for you to begin with into something really bad. Because when he gets in the open field, I mean, as I said, he's got enough speed and he's got enough size to hurt you when he gets in the open field.
And the thing about him too, Coach Mack, Anthony Richardson, is as a rookie, he doesn't seem intimidated at all. I mean, he had Aaron Donald coming at him and was right in his face, and he delivered a ball.
Yeah,
He doesn't seem intimidated at all as a rookie.
Well, when you're 6'5", 250,
Yeah.
Physical.
yeah, I mean,
features.
this guy is a generational physical talent.
Mm-hmm.
He really is, and there's no denying that. Now, when he was at Florida, he played 13 games,
Yeah.
and then but people wanted to dismiss the fact that you get athletes in this league, and you get coaches that know a little bit of what to do with them, and plus you can kind of tailor to what they do. Quarterbacks are hard to vet coming out of college football, because they only get 20 hours to work with them. And you've got so many guys transferring in this transfer portal at quarterback to be immediate successes. You don't get to develop. You can develop players in this league. You can develop players, and especially you can see it in him.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Kayla, he's much more calm than he ever was at Florida. I mean, he's not panicking back there. But as I said, you're talking about a generational athletic talent. I mean, and that's just the truth.
Does it make it any different this week? Because the Titans have been so good with the run defense, right? But now you've got the quarterback to account for, possibly Jonathan Taylor. The other back, remind me,
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. Does that
Yep.
make anything in terms of game planning different with that element?
Well, you still got the same gaps. I mean, you got to be gap sound, but you just know that. I mean, and you're not going to get any of those. Jonathan Taylor, I don't know why they wouldn't play him. I
Right.
mean, and plus for his representation, he's got to get his clock started, because what he really wants is free agency, and so he can't afford not to get the 6 games in so that his contract tolls. He's got to start on that too. So I don't know why they wouldn't play him. But I mean, that's different, and that's different than for us. Like you got a guy like NPF coming back. Well, an offensive lineman's different. That's missed a lot of time because he's got to get in sync with the other dudes that he's playing with.
Sure.
A running back, that's a talented running back. I mean, he's been up there. He knows, turn around and hand it to him. And so, or throw it to him. So anyway, but yeah, you got to be gap sound.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to single tackle any of those players that you mentioned. You're going to have to get people to the ball.
And Coach Mack, when you look at this rush group that they have, man, we talked about them a little bit before you came on, Kwity Paye and Samson Ebukam. How do you view these two guys? They're not like Cincinnati last week, and they're not like Cleveland either in their approach. They're more smaller guys that kind of want to get after you, almost like a Dwight Freeney-like is the way you look at these guys.
Yeah, but Gus Bradley's defense, he's a 4-3 guy.
Yeah.
But he'll bring that fifth guy. He'll bring more off the slot a lot. I mean, he's a 4-3 guy. But his two guys, people that are true 4-3 people, it starts with the dudes inside.
Yep.
So they got two big
Grover
dudes
Stewart. Yep, been one of them.
And so the two big dudes they've got inside of the 3 technique in the shade make a huge difference. I mean, this offense in this season so far has faced some really good edge rushers. And I mean, you can quantify them however you want. Kwity Paye leads their team in sacks with 3. Now he's in the concussion protocol right now. So I don't know, where he will be, but that defense, Gus Bradley moves them around enough. What you don't want to do against, and I've coached against Gus before, you don't want to get in 3rd and chains against him, because then you got issues. You got real issues. So they're good at what they do, but those 2 tackles really make it. That's why Zaire Franklin's leading the league in tackles, because those 2 big dudes up front are keeping a lot of trash off of him. I promise you.
Coach Mack, they have a unique player the same way the Titans do here. Big Jeff kind of correlates to DeForest Buckner. The question I have for you in watching either one of those guys, and heck, even the teams before that too. I mean, Cam Jordan moved around like that, and so did Myles Garrett. When did the league get to this point of putting the big stars off and floating off the ball? Has it always been this way, Coach Matt?
We did it a lot.
Especially with the bigs.
We did it a lot with Hainsworth and Kyle Van Bosch.
I did see Hainsworth.
No, we used to do it. We did it a lot with Richard Dent at the Bears. I mean, we would stand him up in the middle in that 46 sometimes and move him around. But you've got to get people at third and chains. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
What you're seeing more of, Ramon, than when you were playing is a lot of these third and longs. You see everybody in a 2-point stance.
Yep.
Everybody's up in a 2-point stance now, and it's kind of that that amoeba defense that people used to play some where people would move around. You're seeing that a lot, and what you're also seeing is a lot of open middle with wide nines, and then the other guys standing up and walking around, and then running 2- and 3-man games from depth. Not from up on the line of scrimmage, but from depth. Mm-hmm. And defensive coaches are always trying to find a way because quarterbacks are protected so much now. You've got to affect the quarterback as much as you have to get to him anymore.
Yeah, and I remember being the case earlier in my career, Coach Mack. We used to do signal in where we do basically a twirly bird, spinning your finger around, meaning find where they are and locate the bigs. But you see now, you're right. They're more wide now, or you send one guy up the middle. It's hard to block a 3-man rush, and it seems like that's what a lot of teams do.
Well, and what it makes an offensive line do, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, is that it's like punt protection.
Yep.
You got to protect inside out.
Yep.
When you do that, then you go to gap protection, and you just protect inside out because you start trying to point men out when they're going amoebas all around the place. You got a problem.
Yeah, you do. I hated that. God, I hated that, Coach Matt. Why are you defensive coaches like this? Huh? Why do you guys want to confuse and abuse us, Coach Matt?
Because defensive coaches, with all the rules, I remember sitting next to Mike Holmgren one time, and in head coaches meetings, and he was talking all this stuff about we need to make the screens be able to get the linemen out earlier, and we need to be able to not be able, and I'm sitting there, and then a defensive coach that I'm sitting next to, I won't mention his name, raises his hand and says, "Hey, I've got a something I'd like to say. I'd like a proposal. How about we give defensive coaches tenure, and then y'all go ahead and do all this stuff you want? Because right now we can't tackle anybody."
just call it what it was, Coach Matt.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, all the defensive coaches in the room started clapping.
That's great.
That's fair. I give you that,
Coach Mack with us this morning here on RKW. The linebacker position, Coach Mack, obviously a position you know a thing or two about, I'd say. Titans had a question mark there coming into the season with two new faces playing together, Azeez Al-Shire and Jack Gibbons. Thought Jack Gibbons was really good Sunday and running stride for stride with Tyler Boyd and getting a pass breakup against Joe Burrow and Boyd, a tough receiver to cover. How good has that duo been for the Titans this year in your estimation?
Well, I mean they're playing really good solid football, and then plus look, Jack Gibbons. Everybody underestimated his athleticism.
Yes.
I mean, that's it. Everybody underestimated it and looked at it. I've coached it long enough. And then he trained this year. He knew what a little bit of his shortcomings were. I mean, but he has always been a really good K&D guy, which is key and diagnose. I mean, that's why he got here. And Azeez is the same way. Azeez is a get ahead of the block type of dude. Now, he's got more probably natural twitch to him, but I give Gibby all the credit in the world. But And you know what? I've coached linebackers like this before. Brad Castle was the same way here. People underestimated his athleticism, and I had one in the booth with him the other day. It's Stephen Tulloch. When we brought him in here, and had to fight to get him drafted, but just because he was a short dude and didn't run real well at the combine, they underestimated his ability to play linebacker. Because I mean, he was as good a see ball, get ball guy as I've ever been around. So it's a little different back there. But the other thing with these two guys, Ramon, these guys up in front of them are playing really well.
Yeah, they are.
And that's huge. I mean, I used to tell Singletary after every game, go in there and tell McMichael and Hampton they're sitting in there on that training table, smoking a cigar and drinking tequila. Tell them thank you. I mean, tell them thank you for keeping everybody off of you, because
that's great.
That's huge for guys that play behind the ball.
It is.
A limited amount of X plays in this last game, something we've kind of talked about a lot. And so have the players, just limiting those. And I felt like last week they did a good job of that. Now, Joe Burrow wasn't at full capacity, throwing these deep balls. But do you feel like you saw steps for them in the right direction last week?
Yeah, first of all, let me shed a tear for Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
I'm not shedding no tears.
Yeah, now I'm done.
No tears.
I'm done with that.
Amen.
Most of the explosives have been with eye violations in man-to-man.
Okay.
You can't play man-to-man and not look at your man. I mean, if you watch the quarterback in man-to-man, you're going to watch him throw to your guy. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so that's where most of that has been. And the other thing was and of course Joe Burrow, and you're right, Kayla. He doesn't have the lateral mobility that he's had, and so they have been. Their structure of their offense was to get it out in 2.3 to 2.5, and so it became a thing of not just staying over the top. Now it became something of being able to spot tackle and move up. So that helped a whole lot. This week is going to be a problem. Let's go back to the start of this conversation about plastering when that guy's moving around. We're going to see some of that up there. Just get ready in Lucas Oil to watch some of that because he's going to get away at times. He's just too big and too fast, and he's going to get away. And so plastering in the back end is really, really big. You can't lose. Whether you're in man or zone, you're going to have to man up. You got to man up who's ever in your zone, and you can't lose him. And then that's where a lot of explosives come from when they get them. So, yeah, but there's third downs, explosives in the National Football League, and turnovers. Those three, if you just look at those and see who's on the plus side of most of those in games, the higher percentage goes to those that are on plus sides of those.
Speaking of plus sides, too, we're seeing Tim Kelly's offense look like grab legs, gain more legs, Coach Mack. It looked like it's evolving a little bit more from week 1 to week 4. What have you seen out of the evolution of his offense?
Well, I've watched practice since May, and I watch practice every day, and there's things I see that I can't talk about, which is the reason I get to see it, But this is what it is. Yeah. I mean, but the thing that has to happen is you've got to get into a flow, and you've heard Mike Vrabel say this, and he's 100%. You got to get that first down. You make that first down in a series, and especially the earlier that you can do that, then you can start getting into your play sheet. But you can't stack plays unless you have plays to call. And so, if you're going 3 and out, you can't ever get to your play sheet. And plus, you can't get to being able to start layering calls. I mean, one of the best play stackers ever was Norv Turner at Dallas, but because they would have first downs. Be first down, because I defensed him for a lot of years, and it just kept pecking away at you. But by then he could start working on formations, personnel groups, seeing how you were matching up. But the more info you get, the offensive coordinators need intel during a game, and intel is snaps, and you get snaps by extending series. You extend series by moving the chains. That's enough.
I like that.
Great stuff. Bright and early on Thursday mornings with Coach Mack of Titans Radio, presented as always by our friends at Two Rivers Ford. Coach Mack, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Guys, great. Bring me some of that
8th and roast.
Cold
you got
brew,
it.
please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got it now?
Can do.
We will make it happen ASAP.
Okay, thanks. See you.
See you, Coach.
There's Coach Mack with us. Coming up, there is a change coming in college football that the internet was making fun of, but coaches and staffers are a huge fan of. That's next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
Hey, it's Kayla Anderson for my friends at Wing Vision Institute. Went in there a few weeks ago, had not gotten my eyes checked. I can't even tell you how long it's been. Years. Do everything else, but for some reason, I think a lot of us decide we don't need to do the vision thing. As we get older, we have a little bit of maybe issues seeing up close, seeing far away. Maybe you're a good candidate for LASIK, whatever it might be. Definitely go in and check out the Wang Vision Institute. They do everything eyes. They'll do the full treatment on you to see what you need, maybe just what you might need in the future even. They also have a new treatment that is incredible. They've introduced the intense pulse light treatments. This is a non-invasive cosmetic procedure. And when you think cosmetic, don't think it's surgery or anything. It's very, very effective, and it addresses various skin concerns. Maybe you've got uneven skin tone, you've got age spots, sun damage, and this is men and women who experience this. Make sure to visit wangvisioninstitute.com today for tons more information on it. They also can take care of the lines, the wrinkles, acne scarring. Maybe you have that, rosacea, everything that comes along with age. They can help with the intense pulse light treatments. Make sure to visit them on wangvisioninstitute.com. They also offer free online seminars. That's every Tuesday at 6:45. So if you're just interested in, what this process is like, you can RSVP. Just go to wangvisioninstitute.com. Your skin and eyes will thank you for the long-lasting results.
Thursday morning on RKW, we are brewed by 8th and Roast. Coming up, a big college football discussion in hour 2. Kirby Smart saying some maybe not so smart things in the media, but how it pertains to the SEC and the rest of the conferences this season brings up an interesting discussion that we'll get to coming up at 7:20. 615-737-1045. That and a Titans injury report update coming up at 7 o'clock. But, guys, there is a change coming to college football that the internet dunked on a little bit yesterday, but when you dive into it a bit more, coaches are very excited. Photo shoots have gotten out of control in college athletics.
Yes.
Ramon talks about this a lot, that about the only photo shoots you were taking were whatever party you were at with like a Polaroid camera, or maybe you were using those tin cans to talk back and forth with the coaches back when Ramon was a recruit.
Yeah.
But
Made a whole lot tougher guys, too, didn't it, Will?
the FBS Oversight Committee introduced legislation into the pilot legislative process to prohibit, during a football prospective athlete's unofficial visits, institutional involvement in arranging photographs or photographing the prospective student athlete and those accompanying. That's the key part as well, the prospective student athlete. No longer will we have recruits and their dads taking photos together in full uniform on unofficial visits. Those will only happen on official visits now.
Oh, my goodness. This is where we're at, baby.
Yeah, I get it. I do. I get it. Look, those coaches and schools and just recruiting departments lay it out for you. They want you. They love you. But it's been too many times we've seen kids who do all of these photo shoots and don't even go to any of those schools. Heck, some of them don't even go to college in general, and you use it for your social media. I get chasing your dream. The dream ain't the photo shoot. The dream is the full scholarship and playing. The dream is at least attempting to make it to the next level. These photo shoots, and not only that, okay, unless you're buying the cleats, the gloves, the shirts yourself, stop wearing them with your high school uniforms, okay? If you are a purple school and I see you with red shoes on from some other university, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, stop.
Do you see this at all? Like
I
when
see it
you're
on
out and
social
about?
media.
Okay.
I see it in regular context here.
Yep.
It's just like, are you committed to
Right.
Tulane, or are you committed to Alabama? Why are you wearing the gloves?
So this was. Do you have any
I get
feelings
it, though.
about just putting on the jersey at all? Because I know there are some coaches, not as many as there used to be, but there are some coaches who say you don't get to put on that uniform until you are on the team, not even for a picture.
They wouldn't want me on their staff. I wouldn't allow. My boys can't do it either.
Right.
No, we can do a hat. We can take the picture.
Sure.
That'll be my MO with mine, just because every coach is lying in recruiting. Every kid is lying in recruiting too. Understand what you're getting yourself. Have a plan in your recruiting. Don't let it control you just because it's beautiful on scene. Because the day you walk through that door is the day reality's going to set in. It's like, oh, coach ain't as nice as he said he was in recruiting. It just levels the reality of it to me more than anything. That's kind of the way I view it, is the reality of what you're actually getting yourself into. Strip all that crap away.
Yeah.
You'll see exactly what you're getting yourself into. And this is old man, get off my yard type of conversation, but I'm not into it.
So I remember the day I got my Tennessee uniform. When I made the team, started school, we go through our preseason camp, I have the meeting with coach, and they're like, we're not going to redshirt you. You're competing, which wasn't the greatest thing for me at that point. But in the moment, I loved it. And putting on that uniform for the first time, I remember we got them in the little saran wrap thing, because these things are not as cool for us non-revenue athletes. And we got it in the wrap. We got all of our gear for we were traveling to Virginia Tech for our first race 2 weeks into my freshman year. And I remember I was like, I'm going to go down to the locker room real quick, try on the uniform. Just just put it on, see how it feels real quick. And I got chills. It was, that to me was a dream 6, 7, 8 years in the making. But that moment of putting on a uniform, knowing I had earned that opportunity, hit way differently than if I was on a recruiting visit and I was allowed to try it on for a, picture for my Instagram. to impress people at my high school. Like, you get so caught up in the fact that the gear, the extra stuff, the visits, the perks, the people you meet on your visits, like those friendships, when that becomes more important than the job you're actually there to do, we're putting the cart before the horse. And I remember one of the first meetings we had, Coach looked around and was like, if you guys are here and are way too excited about the gear, y'all got another thing coming in these first couple weeks of practice. And I looked at myself and I was like, oof, I might kind of be in that boat a little bit. but I was honest with myself, right? Just to know that, like, so many of these guys, you talk about like Christmas in August and like all this stuff that you get, like the stuff has gone completely out of control. Completely out of control. And I say that as a 26-year-old.
I don't know how at that age, I'm looking back at myself at that age.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would have handled any of that stuff. I mean, you have to, even if you have good direction and family or whatever kind of guiding you or leadership, you're still a 14-year-old. You're still a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. I mean, it's a different type of thing in terms of your age and what you can handle. I don't know what I would do at that age.
Exactly. Well, and I guess the most egregious one to me is when the dad and the son
Well,
both.
That's crazy.
I mean,
man.
that's like a whole nother level, right?
Those
That's
are
like the
so
dad
wild.
living from the son.
Now,
You shouldn't even be able to do that on an official
No.
visit or even when you enroll. Like,
No.
there's no context of unless you played there too and you're putting on
Yeah.
your own jersey.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. But like,
I can get with that.
being on a visit and like dad gets to put on a jersey and son gets to put on a jersey.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, what are we? You're not that guy, man.
What if the dad still has eligibility left, though?
He
What
should
if
have
they're-
Well, then that's fair.
They're
should've-
That's
recruiting
fair.
both.
Right?
He should have took us behind
Respect.
the college way before, Bert. He shouldn't wait to his second coming to be a guy to say, yeah, we're going to this university.
3-star recruit for University of Phoenix.
He's just a late bloomer, man.
He's okay. That's fair. I
No
get
disrespect
that.
to University of Phoenix, of course, but you know.
Sets a hell of an edge, man. We got to get this dad on campus.
We gotta find a way to make money off this. It's too
It's
good.
too-
Well, it ain't them too. It's the moms that they want on campus, boy.
Oh, boy. We got Zach Wilson's out there.
Well, don't act like it ain't regular population out here. Yeah. Well, you got me going with that,
615-737-1045. That's quite literally my job, is to get you going.
No, it's not.
For 4 hours a day.
Oh,
You know
boy.
I hate that too.
Sometimes on week.
And
You
now
know
you
I
got
hate
coffee
that.
and Will. Double dose, baby.
Waterboard will.
That's why I am good at stirring the pot. That's why I sit in the chair that I do.
There you are. I get that to you.
Anyway, take the surprise out your voice. Coming up next, what Kyle Phillips and Peter Skronsky had to say about coming back from injury. They were both on the practice field yesterday, and a long list of Colts weren't. We'll read it for you coming up.
It's Ramon and Kayla here for our friends at Window Nation. And fall is the best time of the year, and don't argue with me about that one, okay? It's just what it is, okay? And there's so much to love about the fall, especially the return of Window Nation's best offer of the year, where you get 2 windows free for every 2 you buy. Plus, put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 2 years. If your old windows are hard to open or close or drafty and leaky, now's the time to call Window Nation. Take care of it before the cold weather actually sets in, Kayla.
I know, and right now we're in that flux, right? It's hot still, but then it gets cold kind of this time of the morning when you're up early. Maybe you're wondering, well, how do I even know if I need to replace my windows or get new windows? Well, maybe they're not opening properly. Maybe they just don't stay open in general. If you're popping them up at night to get in a little bit of that cool breeze, that means you probably need new windows, and you might want to just do it now. Invest now, because you can have 0 interest for 2 full years. And with the mortgage rate so high, you guys, it is a difficult time to move. So invest in your home today and do it with new windows from Window Nation. We were talking about those energy bills, Ramon. You can save up to 30% on those. That's a pretty good deal. And they are very trusted around the country. They've installed nearly 2 million windows. They've got a 96 perfection rate, making them one of the top window companies in the entire country. So do yourself a favor, do your home a favor. Go ahead and invest today. 866-90Nation, or just simply log online to windownation.com.
What's going on? 7:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Thursday night football tonight on Amazon Prime with the Commanders and the Bears. You can listen to that game right here on 104.5 The Zone. Commanders look to bounce back from an overtime loss to the Eagles last week, while the Bears are trying to overcome a deflating loss to the Broncos. Chase Claypool is expected to remain away from the Bears team for the second consecutive game. Titans made some roster moves yesterday, promoting tight end Kevin Rader from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. Also yesterday, Titans re-signed wide receiver Mason Kinsey back to the team's practice squad. Kinsey was waived from the team's active roster earlier in the week. Rader, though, played in 14 games for the Titans last year with 2 starts. Titans actually have some positivity on their injury report for the first time in a while. While Traylon Burks and T.R. Tart did not practice, Peter Skoronski, Kyle Phillips, and NPF all practiced fully. Elijah Molden was limited with a hamstring injury. But Indy, they're having a tough go of it with 8 players not practicing, including Mo Alley Cox, DeForest Buckner, Shaq Leonard, Quentin Nelson, and Quiddy Pay. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
One quarter down, 3 more to go on your Thursday morning edition of RKW. We're brewed by 8th and Roast, cultivating coffee and community by the cup. 615-737-1045 is how you jump in on the discussion. And in the Effin' and Bake chat, that's where you chat with us, the people of Nashville and around the world. Watching live on 104.5 The Zone TV. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where you can see and hear Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, myself, Will Bowling.
Twitch, please.
Thank you so much.
I knew you were waiting to do that.
I couldn't interrupt them right there. I was just like, okay.
It was like
definitely.
boiling in you. You were like, come on, Ramon.
I had to, Kayla. I had to. You hear me? Happy Thursday, good people.
Friday Junior.
Friday, Junior. We're getting
I've stolen that, or stole that from
I mean,
Will.
We're going to take that.
Friday Junior.
We ain't ever
All right.
giving credit. We're small J journalists out. At least I am. I'm
Okay.
taking stuff and not giving credit for it, Kayla. You said that? Oh, I didn't. I don't remember that. I'm not a journalist.
I don't think I have any channel.
Well, Bert is an investigative journalist. I'll say that. I'll give him that title.
I'm almost over his counsel that he's providing to himself and people. Not
People
really,
being
but
Ron Slay,
Ron
your
Slavy,
brother.
yeah.
pretty much. He's made the dude bulletproof. Is
Man,
all I'm saying.
You might really be over me once we get to our Thursday 3, and we have to reveal
shoot.
some of our bets.
I know where you're going with
Ooh-wee.
this.
This is what
See
we
ya,
do.
Steelers.
I'm not a junk talker. I'm just saying you might be a little more upset at me.
I was about to jump on that, but I was like, I'm going to leave that to y'all.
I didn't. You know what? He chooses violence, and I'm okay with that. But
Sure.
that's neither here nor there.
As Deion Sanders would say, you think that's
cool.
bull junk?
Give me one of them wings. I love that
Bull
commercial.
Bull John. It's almost like he's overemphasizing the lack of not wanting to say bad words.
Right.
I'm just like, okay, Prime, I respect it. I've actually found myself in different settings making sure I don't use profanity, man.
No,
I
it's
wonder-
hard
I'm
sometimes.
trying.
Who
I'm working.
the general sports public is more tired of hearing about, Deion Sanders or Taylor Swift?
Taylor.
The latter,
I think
100%.
Taylor
Yeah,
now.
Taylor Swift.
Probably
She
say
overtook.
Taylor.
I
I
would
feel
say
like
Taylor
though
Swift.
that the demographic of people who are most tired with Deion Sanders don't even know that Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce.
That's true.
Don't care.
Yeah, they stopped watching the NFL a long time ago.
I know.
Yeah.
They did.
Well, I mean just in general, like there are a lot of NFL viewers who aren't that plugged into like the day-to-day off the field stuff. I know this is like next level
Mhm.
because it's now been brought on the field because everything Travis Kelce does, it's like, oh, is he looking at Taylor? Like, no, idiot.
Oh,
He's watching a replay on the Jumbotron. But
He could crush the whole world, by the way, by just tweeting like, she's a bad kisser, by the way.
Right?
That would do good and bad for his like image though. Wouldn't you think, like, branding wise, that would be insanely good for him?
His image is about to be tarnished. I don't think this relationship goes the distance. Because time would dictate that Taylor hasn't had one that worked out yet. So I'm just playing the averages that this is not going to make it. So his image is not of consequence either way. It's going to get crashed down no matter what.
What's going to suck is if they don't work out, which, again, I don't have a feeling that it will work out. I can't believe we're actually freaking talking about this. What's going to suck is the girl behind Taylor. How do you follow that up? He's either got a big superstar. Like, he's got to go try Rihanna at this point, and she's not about to allow that herself.
Riri's, I think she's taken.
Yeah, she is. I
right?
think she's about to have her second child or just had it. Yeah. Where do you go from Taylor Swift?
You can't go many places.
No, or with her. You can't go many places with her.
Supermodel? I don't know.
See what you did, Tom Brady? You retired and took Giselle with you, and now we got to look for another power couple out here.
I subscribe to the Frank Sinatra way of thinking that the most beautiful women are not the models, are not the actresses. The most beautiful women are the woman working at the bar or the hairstylist.
Right, there you go.
So if you're Travis Kelce, you're going to find one of those women that's working a mundane job, and then you get to be Taylor Swift. You get to be the one who's the power in the relationship.
Preach.
And they're like, "Oh, Travis Kelce's so cool." Yeah, I am. That's right. I don't have to worry about closing down a whole restaurant so we can have dinner, baby.
I'm him.
He had his own dating show back in the day where, they won a date with Travis Kelce and then got engaged to Travis Kelce and all that fun stuff.
And Travis just got a lot going on.
You know he got it going on, though, because his ex came out of the woodwork to be like, watch out, girl. He's a monster. You better don't get in too deep, girl. He's going to cheat on you. Yeah, right.
I was just like, this is way too much. Nobody was asking for your opinion on this one. If you were done with this, then just call it what it was. Nobody wanted you to be on ETV with an interview.
The Swifties are attacking me.
Yeah, like what? Oh, I hate this.
To the phones.
Gossip hour.
Please don't be about
615-737-1045. We go to the country where Taylor Swift's ex is from. Michael in London is here.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
One of our finest is with us this morning. What's up, Michael?
Hello, how are you? I'm fine. How are you guys? I was a bit concerned because I was like, is this still Ramon Taylor Boone?
It is.
I thought it was Jerry Springer. I don't know what's going on.
Michael, you are the caller.
Oh, my God. This is like relationship expert.
I said I hated it, though, Michael. Like, I didn't.
Ramon, you're killing me, man. I got to take some McDonald's stars away from you. You are killing me.
That's deserved. That's deserved.
Look at you with a love tap.
It was way too much energy to that. Like, I almost threw up, but Michael, forgive me, man. That's all I got for you.
I thought it was being ridiculous. Every time they go into the end zone, it was a picture of her. Like, what are you doing? Sort it out. Like, if I want to watch her sing, I go and, go and read on, Just 17 magazine or something. It's ridiculous. Well, there you go. Anyway, back to football, guys.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Listen, we're all smiling because we did well in the weekend. So, that's good to see. But I think two things. For me, I don't know if you've noticed, but the longer the drive, the better we become with the play calling. We seem to always get stuck in the first three plays, and then once we get rolling, we seem to know what to do. That's one observation. I think that, I'm not trying to put a damper on anything, but everybody knows we might win the division. Forget last season where everybody was broken, and we flopped the last 7 games. But I think at the back of everybody's mind, we almost know that there's still a big gap between the guys we might meet in the playoffs, and I don't know what you guys think about that, because that's what I think really everybody's expecting is, are we good enough to get over that that next thing? I mean, we sold all our draft picks until 2084, so that's gone. And then, but the coaching, which I mentioned last week, I think is what's going to get us out of this mire, just to make sure that we can maximize, like we did this week, some of the guys that we got, that either they're good enough or not, we can still do something with them. So hopefully, I don't know what you guys think. Do you think you're comfortable enough that we are able to bridge that gap with the big boy teams come the playoffs.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
That's fair.
Appreciate the call. I think that's the question about this team, guys, is are they able to go on the road and beat a Lamar Jackson in Baltimore like they did in early 2020 and the 2019 season and go to New England and beat Tom Brady? That team was the one that nobody wanted to play because they would drag you in the mud and, hit you over the head with a cinder block. This team, when it's right and when it can protect Ryan Tannehill, has shown us that they can do the same thing.
Right. And that's why it has to start this weekend because they don't have that road win yet. And if you're going to start off AFC South play with a bang, you better go up there and do it in Indianapolis.
And Coach Mack said it, and Michael just alluded to it also. The more reps this offensive team gets, the better you hope it goes, throughout the season. And that's one thing we've kind of said. Yeah, the start's been win-loss, the way it goes. But all in all, give me November, December, January, where you're going up, where those games matter a little bit more, especially when you get the opportunity to knock off Jacksonville later in the season, too. This is going to be a fascinating stretch. And then, of course, be good by the time you get to C.J. Stroud. Like, we're going to have to start having that conversation, y'all, about how good this young quarterback has looked in his first month of his career. I'm okay with what's happened in this first quarter, 2-2, still playing ball. We're still playing ball right now, man, and get better again. Tim Kelly's offense, growing more legs and evolving, too. I like that. That, to me, is the biggest key to success for this team.
And real quick, what Coach Mack said about that, too, and Michael said, alluded to this, the first down is so important because that's what's going to allow then the drives to continue to stack those plays. That's where you get in a groove. I think that was a great point by Coach Mack this morning. Got to continue that.
Have to.
Injury report before we get to a big college football conversation coming up next. Non-participants for the Titans were Traylon Burks, Luke Gifford, and Tier Tart. Elijah Molden was limited. Nicholas Petit-Frere, Kyle Phillips, Peter Skronsky, and Josh Wiley were all full participants. Meanwhile, for Indy, a laundry list of starters who did not practice. Mo Alley Cox, DeForest Buckner, Shaq Leonard, Taekwon Lewis, Quentin Nelson, Kwity Paye, Bernard Ryman, and Ryan Kelly and Jonathan Taylor were both full participants, yet somehow Jonathan Taylor still refuses to talk to reporters.
I saw that.
Which was a big topic of conversation up in Indy yesterday. We'll dive back into that coming up later on in the show here in about an hour. But when we come back, Kirby Smart has ruffled the feathers of many people who cover college football, and it poses the question to us, where does the SEC rank in terms of the hierarchy of other Power 5 conferences so far this year? Have we sounded the alarm on the SEC being overrated too soon, or is the SEC have a big issue this season? We'll dive into that coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will for Kellum Stem Cell Institute. And I'm telling you guys, whether you play the sport, whether you work on your feet all day, construction, doesn't matter. All you want after that day's work is to feel better. Make sure your body doesn't have all that inflammation in it. And Kellum Stem Cell is there to deliver that to you, Will.
That's right, Ramon. Whether you are an athlete or not, you always want to treat your body the way that a professional athlete does. Dr. Kellum works with the best of the best. He's worked with NFL, NBA, Team USA. This is great therapy as well for concussions, anything that needs reduced inflammation. So often we have those aches and pains. You feel like there's just no way out and you live with it. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to live with those aches and pains, that pain that you've got. Visit their website, KellumStemCellInstitute.com. They're great to work with. Dr. Kellum's going to make things very easy for you. Again, that's KELLUM StemCellInstitute.com. RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. Stop in at one of their 3 locations this morning. If you're flying out of Nashville, first of all, I'm sorry. You got to leave it. Great city.
I know.
But you can go by 8th Avenue, Charlotte. Quick and easy. The coffee will be fresh. It will be good. Grab a chorizo breakfast burrito while you're there, too.
Can't miss with that one.
Whew. You know the coffee's good when you get your feet sweating. I'm in here going, boy.
Or your pit sweating.
I can't say
That's the
I have
adrenaline.
ever had that happen.
If you wear Crocs and you be standing up, you be having them sweaty feet.
Your Crocs are in sport mode this morning.
They are in sport mode, but I will say when I went outside to smoke my morning communal, that I about slipped out my Croc. These things were so slick, boy.
You need new Crocs, Bert.
I think it's just the coffee. I think it's just got me going,
Ready
man.
to go.
I'm energized and ready.
He was going to order the Shrek ones.
I was gonna.
Did you not order them?
They
Those were
sold out
lit.
too quick, man.
So now you're trying to find an ogre pair of them?
God, I wish I could throw us to break. I wish we wasn't in a long segment right now.
If we didn't have an HR department, I swear I would throw some at them, man. God, you're
Ogre.
protected. Oh, my gosh, you're protected, and I hate it.
Get out of my swamp,
Oh, can we please flatten his tires?
buddy.
We got to do something.
don't do that.
He just got a new car.
Well,
They
I
were
don't
having a nice
care.
time.
Who's got the number to a tow truck at least? God, why are you this way?
So many reasons.
An ogre one. I got the joke, and I want to laugh, but you didn't laugh at any of mine
I've
yesterday.
even seen
So I got
Shrek, and I
nothing
was
for you.
laughing at that.
Yeah, Shrek. That's right. Kayla's not a Shrek fan.
You know, you can go to
Yes.
Twitter
No, I said I've
and
never seen it.
all of Shrek
My
is
bad.
posted in a tweet. Like there's someone when all the X stuff happened with the verification and like Twitter Blue or X Blue. I'm never gonna call it X. It's Twitter.
I know.
Twitter Blue started.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted the whole movie.
They
And then
did?
I think for Shrek 2, they tweeted the whole movie again.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Good.
One of the
Le-
greatest films of our generation.
Least
It is.
productive afternoon of my life.
What, watching Shrek?
Yeah,
Did you not know that?
You just scroll.
That it was on Twitter?
You just scroll past it, and you're like,
I know.
"Is
Like,
this
well,
an hour and a half long movie file in the tweet?"
That
It's
is
like the
awesome.
what David Wallace of The Office when he's not the CFO anymore. Huh. So that's what I'm going to do today.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, what Kirby Smart did earlier this week is just, did Kirby Smart things in the media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
He says that every SEC team should be ranked. Here he was earlier this week talking to media in Athens.
I personally think every SEC team should be ranked. I guarantee you there's some teams that don't want to play them that are ranked. I mean, I literally have no idea what you're referencing because every team we play in the SEC is good enough to beat us. And whether they're ranked or not, I could care less. I'm trying to be more physical than them and outscore them.
So that's Kirby Smart earlier this week. And guys, I'll take the first crack at this one and say that we can't take this too seriously because this is the same guy who convinced his defending national championship team last season that nobody believed in them. Spoiler alert, most people believed in them last season. This is what coaches do, right? When they talk in the media, they're talking to their players to try to motivate them. And in this context, Kirby Smart, in my opinion, has a quarterback that is not the best in Carson Beck. Stats were fine, but the start was terrible in his first true road game. He is trying to build up the opponent that Georgia just beat in Auburn to say, look, guys, this team should be ranked. You're not that bad. I know you got off to a slow start. Jordan-Hare is a tough environment. This is a tough challenge for you to try to raise the level of the opponents they're playing because, guys, the opponents on their schedule, we've mentioned it before, there are Conference USA teams that will play a tougher schedule this season than Georgia.
Yeah.
He is trying to raise the level of the challenges in front of his team because, look, they had Oklahoma on the schedule. They couldn't play him because the SEC asked Tennessee and Georgia to both move their matchups with Oklahoma because of the expanded conference. You can only play who's on your schedule. Kirby Smart is trying to make his wins look more impressive than they are. And that's no different than what Ryan Day did going after Lou Holtz. I mean, it's no different than what every coach does. This time it just made a bigger headline because, I mean, he's factually wrong. Not every SEC team should be ranked.
Absolutely not. As it stands right now in the AP poll, there are 7 teams. There's one in the top 4, one in the top 6, the way you want to look at it, 2 from the SEC. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. And some of the teams that Kirby's going to be playing is not that good or they'll just pummel. That's just simply what's going to happen with Georgia. I got to commend a guy like him that does this for his team to where he psychs them out. Georgia doesn't really have a whole lot of competition when it comes down to the early parts of their schedule, and just the teams they're going to be playing in general, too. Kentucky is undefeated right now, but I think most people look at Kentucky and say it's going to take a lot for them to beat Georgia, just based on the recruits and the players that they have and how that defense stacks up in play. I will say this. I don't think Georgia's as strong as they have been in years past, too, even at the rate that they're winning. Their slow starts may bite them in the butt at some point in time. And to Will's point about him uplifting everybody else in the SEC, he's going to try to make that argument, and he should, that we're playing SEC opponents. That's the reason we lost. I think their drops could be a team like Kentucky. Okay, that's a 6 o'clock game in Georgia. I don't know how that's going to work out for them, but with what Kentucky did last week against Florida, they're capable of keeping it close, making it tight. And if that's the case, you look at other teams that have to play them. Let's go Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee. That's the extent of their competition going into the latter part of the season. If they don't win against one of those teams, he's laying his head on the fact that we're playing in the SEC. And I don't think that's fair because this year's SEC and the teams that they're playing aren't slanted the same. So, Kirby, you shouldn't have said that. Can't do that, but he plays that game the same way he did last year when he was about to play us as we was the number one ranked team. I think most people knew we had a shot to beat Georgia, but going down there as the number one team and how he painted it up, that was a psychological warfare that he won, and he did it in a major, major way and for everybody to see it. I like it. Don't get it is what I'm saying. Kirby, it's hard to be number one. It is. Just if you're that good, beat everybody down. Do what the Alabama offensive lineman said they were going to do to everybody. Make everybody submit. Your team is that good. You got that amount of recruits on your squad to be able to do those types of things.
And look, Kirby, I kind of laugh at it because I'm like, is he really serious? I don't really know if he's that serious. I think he knows how to play things up. I think he knows how to garnish some attention. And right now, with the SEC, and I'm not going to call it down because it's the SEC. Like, there are good teams. There are good coaches. There's the top caliber talent in this league. But right now, it is a little down from, let's say, a conference like the Pac-12, where the only reason I give the Pac-12 a little bit more of the credit this year is because of the quarterback play. That's where the difference for me is this year in conferences in terms of head-to-head. You look at the Pac-12, they've just got the quarterback play, right? In the SEC, I think you're just kind of trying to pick out who really is, that top caliber quarterback right now. A lot of them are younger, but I think it's just a little more hit and miss in the SEC. I think the defensive play is down a little bit in the SEC as well, which I think has always been a pride of this conference, the SEC. But I don't really fault Kirby for saying it because I think that's how he does things at Georgia. Remember the player last year, I can't remember who it was, who came out and said at the beginning of the year, everybody was doubting them and no one picked them to finish, the top of the SEC, let alone win a national championship. Like he garnishes this up and he feeds off of that at Georgia. And I think that's what he uses as motivation. But I don't think it's true.
I would say as a coach, you're supposed to find ways to manipulate your players. I get why he's doing it. But in this year, with the guys that he's in, the schedule that they have, that's not going to be the case. I don't know if Missouri or Kentucky's undefeated season is top tier. I got to respect it because they are as it stands right now. We'll see what more conference play looks like for both of those teams. And also Georgia, too. I'm hoping it's us that get them. I will say that. I do. I hope it's us that get them. But it wouldn't shock me if Georgia took a loss before the end of the season in that Georgia Tech game.
The quarterback position is the difference in the conversations because when you look at the 247 Sports talent composite, this takes the recruiting classes of the last 4 years, puts them onto one ranking of based on players that you have on your roster, who has the best rosters in all of college football. In that top 25, 9 of them are SEC teams. And it's ironic that number 26 is actually Washington. The team, because of elite quarterback play and Michael Penix and the momentum that they have in the Pac-12 right now is a playoff contender and in the top 10 and has a massive matchup with Oregon next Saturday night. But right now, you've got a comparison of a team that is in the hunt for the playoffs, who, according to the talent composite of all the players on their roster, is right behind Missouri at 25th. The 74 players that are ranked here by Missouri, 2 5-stars, 24 stars, 49 3-stars, behind 82 players for Washington. 0 of them are 5-stars. Yet Michael Penix, a guy who at one point was committed to Butch Jones in Tennessee, that's how long this guy's been around, has raised the level of that team to such a place where him at Washington, Bo Nix at Oregon, obviously the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, there are quarterbacks all across that conference that make them more of a spectacle and make them a little bit more of an interesting team in this. I do think it's interesting, though, too, that Alabama and Georgia, the last 4 seasons, have been 1 and 2 in some order of this ranking. Wow. 1 and 2. This year, Georgia's actually 2 behind Alabama. It's why I thought Alabama would be back to their normal selves and win the national championship again this year. I could still be proven right on that. I don't think I will be, for sure. But at this point, the top 5 rosters in college football, according to the recruiting rankings themselves, and yes, I know that those things are not gospel, but for the sake of conversation, the top 5 is Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Clemson.
Wow.
How many of those teams have lived up to their expectations this year? Maybe one.
Georgia.
At Ohio State.
Oh,
Georgia.
yeah.
I mean, their expectations there are not just to beat teams, but to bludgeon them.
They are. They are.
And they're getting bludgeoned in the first quarter. So all that being said, with the conversation about the SEC, and I know Chris Lowe said it on 3HL, I think, last week, that the top 5 teams in every conference, SEC probably isn't the best conference. If you're just taking the top 5 teams, it probably is the Pac-12 right now.
Fair.
I don't know if the season's going to end that way, but if you were ranking those top 5 teams, where does Tennessee fit? Where does Alabama fit? Who has the best case by the end of the season of being the second best team in the SEC?
Who has the case for it?
Because I feel like
best.
this is the most difficult it's ever been to answer that question. Sure as heck not LSU.
Nope. Nope.
And they were the team that everybody at SEC Media Days here, they were the pick to win the West.
Yep.
They were the pick to be that second best team behind Georgia. It's not them. I can't say definitively it's Alabama. Kentucky hasn't proven enough to tell me it's them. Florida lost to Kentucky, so their win over Tennessee kind of null and void in that. Tennessee goes to the Swamp and loses. I can't confidently say it's them. Is it Missouri? Probably not.
No.
Who has the best case of being the second best team in the SEC?
Who has the second best case? I'm actually trying to look at the streaks between South Carolina and Kentucky at this case. Because at the rate that it's going right now, you look and see who's left on each schedule. Kentucky, they got to play Georgia, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Bama.
Well, Carolina's
That's gonna
under
be tough.
500. They're 2-3.
I know, but it's just looking at the series between the two. South Carolina and Kentucky seem to play. Who won it last? South Carolina beat them last year.
I know.
You see what I'm saying? And a strong year for Kentucky was supposed to be. And then, of course, they got to play them again this year. Where is this game at? It's at South Carolina this year. And that is a rough type of place to play
Tough
at,
place
too.
to play.
That's why I think this weekend between, and I'm going to get to Tennessee in a minute, but between Alabama and A&M is huge.
Yeah.
I think it's huge.
Well, and Georgia, Kentucky's this weekend also.
You're right. And I'm not going to, I should
Sure.
not overlook that.
Right.
We just had that discussion,
Yeah.
right, with Georgia. That's a good point, Will. But in terms of if Alabama or A&M comes out the victor in that one, I feel like they're going to be on the right path in terms of where they finish in the SEC, right? Towards the top, towards the bottom, whatever it might be. But I am not counting out, and I'm not just saying this because we're here in Tennessee. I'm not going to count out Tennessee yet as being one of those teams. I'm not, because I've seen, and there is enough talent there on both sides of the ball. We've seen things that are going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Can they put it all together and consistently do that? I think they could get there. I'm confident in Heupel and his coaching staff. I think they have enough there that they could be a 2 team if Georgia continues to stay 1.
That Kentucky's game's going to be huge.
Well, A&M coming back from the
A&M.
bye.
Right,
I mean, that A&M team, again, we said it, is a top 5 most talented team in college football.
It is.
And their backup quarterback might be just as good as their starter, Max Johnson, filling in for Connor Wegman.
Probably more
look
poised the
bad.
second time around. Heck, I almost look at that almost like a Joe Milton Hendon situation if he can really jump into it.
Right.
Who's the best team in the SEC? Second? Who's second? I don't know, because Kentucky and Missouri about to go through it. Florida, we saw them be frauds in themselves. And the same, let's go for, like you said, LSU, Ole Miss. Heck, it wouldn't even shock me if Ole Miss finds a way.
They could. They certainly could.
Okay, so here we go. This is where I've been with this for years. I've been waiting for the guy himself, Nick Saban, to fall off the cliff. I'm not saying that he has, because the rest of the season got to work his way out. Is this the version of the SEC that we want, though? In my mind, this is what I wanted.
Well,
it is.
And I think it becomes more like this when Texas and Oklahoma join and you have more balanced schedules. And
there we go.
You know, you don't have 3 or 4 teams that are playing a very unbalanced, tougher than everyone else schedule in this conference. You won't have a season like Georgia this year where they're playing
cake.
You know, their toughest game is Tennessee and Knoxville.
Right.
Which is a tough game, to be fair. But, and Kayla, to your point, I think Tennessee's case in this is the fact that they haven't lost a home game in 2 years.
Yep.
That's the thing. Tennessee's next step is learning how to be composed and run the same offense away from Neyland Stadium as they do in Neyland Stadium, because they had no business losing to that Florida roster. No business whatsoever.
No, I agree. But I always felt that was a one-off. I really did, you guys. I did not think Florida was that good of a team. I just felt like it was a one-off situation. I know that sounds nuts to say, but I really did feel like that.
I hope
and
that's
I think,
the trend.
Two people talk themselves into Tennessee being fraudulent because their offense isn't making things look as easy as it did last year.
Right.
But the defense is miles better than it was last year and deeper, to the point where one injury doesn't torpedo this entire football team, at least on the defensive side of the football. I mean, with Kamal Hadden playing like one of the highest graded PFF corners in college football this year is not something I had on my bingo card. I had on my bingo card him getting replaced by the bye week by one of the freshmen. And sure enough, here we are. And the guy's got a pick 6 against Spencer Rattler and Rodney Garner. Any defense where Rodney Garner is the defensive line coach has a shot to be pretty good, especially guys that he's now coached for 3 years.
And I'm hoping the same thing we hope throughout the NFL season. By the time that UT gets to Georgia, Keenan Peely's back.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Get some health. Cooper Mays,
Elijah Simmons is back now.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you stop Georgia's run game early because their quarterback play and find somebody that can cover Brock Bowers.
Yes.
It is just crazy. Like, as a fan, you go through like the steps of you lose to Florida. And then I leave that stadium just like this season's over. Like, you just get ready for Nico 2024. Like, I don't actually think that, but like the darkest places of your mind as you walk out of a stadium, you're getting flipped off by 5-year-olds. Yes, that happened. Not flipped off. They were just trash talking, but your mind goes to those places. And then a couple weeks later, it's, everybody has that mulligan, and, you kind of get one right now in this era of college football. If you just go to Tuscaloosa, what are we doing, man? I'm not there that Tennessee can go to Tuscaloosa and win. I still think it's Alabama, to answer the question.
Real quick, can Tennessee walk down from 22 to the top 10, top 6?
What do you mean?
As far as ranking.
Roster rankings? Well, there's 16.
No. I'm talking about AP rankings.
I'll say this.
Well, they can if they beat Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, I vote every week, right?
Yeah.
And there has been significant jumps for some programs.
Yeah.
That they'll pop
Jump
into
back
that
out.
or jump out. So it can happen. We're still in that process, that point of the season where that can very well happen.
Yeah.
Coming up next, it's Groundhog Day. 2 bad NFL teams are going to play in primetime tonight on Thursday Night Football. Stop me if you've heard that before. We'll preview it for you. Get to Larry in Kentucky on the phone lines coming up next as well. It's RKW 104.5 The Zone.
Have you heard about lab-grown diamonds? Here's a word of advice if you have. Don't buy a lab-grown diamond until you talk to my friends at Genesis Diamonds. Genesis will reveal the secrets behind this new product and make sure that you are protected if you decide to buy one. Genesis non-commissioned experts will teach you the difference between a natural diamond and a lab-grown diamond so you can make the smartest, most informed decision. One important fact you will learn is how some jewelers are grossly overcharging for lab-grown stones. There are some insane markups going on, and you need to be aware of them. For example, at some stores, they're selling 4-carat round lab-grown diamond stud earrings at around $9,000. But at Genesis, you can get them for about half the price with better quality diamonds. And yes, I said half that price. Bottom line is, you need to get informed and you need to get a second opinion, and you also need to be careful. And that's what Genesis promised. They are transparent and will teach you all you need to know to make a smart buy, just like they always have. Genesis Diamonds, your trusted advisor when it comes to the complex world of diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs and the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
"40 years ago, we opened our doors with one mission in mind:
We'll be right back with the top 10 songs of 1983.
To sell quality American-made vehicles at a fair price.
You have arrived.
And we've loved every minute of the ride. Celebrating 40 years of Two Rivers Ford.
Almost halftime of the show already on your Thursday morning RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast. Coming up, it is your Baseball Minute. My favorite time of the day. We say this, though, because one of the best broadcasters in the business just completely ended the entire career of an entire franchise yesterday. We'll play you that audio coming up next. You'll kind of have to hear it to believe it right here on the show. We got a little Thursday night football preview coming up for you. But first, as we talk SEC this morning, we go back to the phones where Larry is in Kentucky calling in with us this morning. What's up, Larry?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yeah, I was just going to comment and see what you guys have to say about it and hang up. But I don't really think the SEC is down necessarily because for the last decade we've had two teams that absolutely dominated the NCAA. And we've kind of come to expect that. But with the NCAA and the portal now, it's kind of made the NCAA in general a little bit closer in being able to get those guys that would normally sit on the bench behind someone else that gets a chance to play now. And secondly, I think that the quarterback play in the Pac-12 is so much better because, I mean, for example, the SEC being better on defense, you have Bo Nix, who was at Auburn, who was mediocre at best against SEC defenses, and then goes to the Pac-12 and now he's a Heisman candidate, and he's throwing for 360 yards a game and 4 touchdowns because defense does matter in the SEC. But I'll hang up and see what you guys have to say.
Thank you, Larry.
Well, I'll say this, Larry, and historically, yes, the SEC has played better defense than other conferences. I think you can probably put the Big Ten up there as well as being a conference that has played good defense. I've covered almost every conference. But the Pac-12 is not the Big 12. Let me make that very clear. There is defense that is played in the Pac-12, believe it or not. It's nothing like the Big 12 where there's no defense played. So I would say I don't think they're not playing any defenses up there. And look, we're just starting to get into conference play too. So to your point, a lot of these, teams have played other, out of conference foes, or maybe some of them haven't been the best defensive, even if they're ranked foes early on in the season. I think there's still a lot that does have to be played out in terms of how legit are those quarterbacks. I think that is a good point, but there is more defense than you think played in the Pac-12. But the SEC, I think definitely, yes, the defense is different here.
I think the biggest thing you have to credit, too, is just Dan Lanning and the coaching for Bo Nix also, because under Gus Malzahn and under, all of the revolving door of offensive linemen, and Gus Malzahn ended up failing at Auburn ultimately because he didn't recruit well enough in the trenches late on in his tenure at Auburn and didn't adjust his offense long term. I just think you have to give credit to Dan Lanning, personally.
Well, yeah, and DJ Uiagalelei. You got to give credit to Jonathan Taylor up there at Oregon State. He was nothing at Clemson and was supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, he had to revive his career way up in the Northwest.
Yep.
So, yeah, coaching does play into that, too. Some of these quarterbacks go to these big schools, think they're going to just snap their fingers and succeed. They're never developed properly, or they're just not in the right place. So sometimes they go away, and look what's happening at other places.
That's very true. Change the environment may do it for you.
So coming up tonight, we've got Bears Commanders Thursday Night Football.
Oh, gosh.
Or you could just poke your eyes out with a pencil. Might be less painful. Justin Fields played well over the weekend, and the Bears lost to the Broncos, even though they did blow a 3-touchdown lead. 335 yards, 4 touchdowns. Had 4 carries for 25. There was a bad turnover that ended up pretty much changing that entire game. But Justin Fields and Sam Howell is a very interesting quarterback matchup. And Sam Howell's 4-5 touchdown to interception ratio. Not super great, but taken 24 sacks and lost 2 straight games has Sam Howell. So not the best game in the trenches. The Bears on defense, though, are just absolutely atrocious.
Always.
I mean, putrid.
Terrible.
Putrid. So this should have, I don't know. Sometimes it's the two teams that are the equivalent of toddlers hitting each other with pool noodles that end up giving you the most entertaining game.
It's true.
So maybe this will be fun. Who's to say?
Don't be talking about your nephew like that. Come on, man.
2 quarterbacks in the top 3 that have been sacked the most in the NFL. Sam Howell's been sacked the most with 24, and Justin Fields has been sacked the third most with 17.
I'm going to say Daniel Jones is the other one.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones is the other one. With how many? How many do you think? Between 17 and 24.
Well, there were 11 on Monday. So.
Oh.
That's true.
22?
I'm going to say 27.
22.
Okay.
Where's Tanny?
Tannehill is tied for 4th with Desmond Ridder at 16.
Nice.
Okay, I forgot Ritter was in the league. I'm just joking.
He called us straight this
Sorry
morning.
about that.
Coming up, there was a not-so-stray bullet that was just a direct hit from Sean McDonough on an ESPN broadcast of Major League Baseball playoffs yesterday. This was crazy.
I love it.
To just dunk on a team that is no longer playing postseason baseball. We'll play the audio coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Scoreboard Bar and Grill. Don't miss Scoreboard's all-you-can-eat low-country bowls, crab, shrimp, booze, music, and football. If it's a Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday night, both Scoreboards will have all the games, food, and music you can handle. And now you can hit 2 locations, one on Old Hickory Lake and one across from the Grand Ole Opry. So get out and enjoy the best weather and time of year at either Scoreboard. Scoreboard is the only place that has something for everyone. Be sure to join 3HL this Friday, y'all, from 3 to 6 as they broadcast live from the newest Scoreboard Cedar Creek location on Old Hickory Lake. And listen up, y'all. They've got great giveaways, too, and all drinks are 2 for $1 from 3 to 6. Yes, that's during 3HL's time, so get there. And if you want to try your hand at beating Brent and Ron's picks, guess what? Go by between 3 to 6 and fill out your sheet, and maybe you'll win the $250 prize pack. While you're there, register for the UT versus Texas A&M tickets also, that each Scoreboard location will be given away on Saturday. So if it's football time, it's Scoreboard time. Scoreboard, Cedar Creek.
What's going on? 8 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Thursday night football tonight on Amazon Prime with the Commanders and Bears, but you can listen to that game right here on 104.5 The Zone. Commanders look to bounce back from an overtime loss to the Eagles, while the Bears trying to overcome their own loss, a deflating one against the Broncos. Chase Claypool is expected to remain away from the team for the second consecutive game. Titans made some roster moves yesterday, promoting tight end Kevin Rader from the team's practice squad to the 53-man roster. Also yesterday, re-signing Mason Kinsey to the practice squad. He was waived earlier in the week for some other roster moves. Rader played in 14 games with 2 starts for the Titans in 2022. And Titans actually have some positivity on their first injury report of the week. While Traylon Burks and Tierra Tart did not practice, Peter Skoronski, Kyle Phillips, and NPF all practiced fully. Elijah Molded was limited with a hamstring injury. But Indy, they're having a tough go of it with 8 players not practicing, including Mo Alley Cox, DeForest Buckner, Shaq Leonard, Quentin Nelson, and Kwity Paye. Also, if you were interested, the Hunk Baby Titans got their first win of the season last night, beating the Indianapolis Colts 31-28. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show on a Thursday morning. We welcome you into a hot and fresh hour of RKW. We're brewed as always by 8th and Roast, locally owned and operated by lifelong friends turned business partners who design the local shops as a way to feel welcomed, connected, and part of a community. You can stop by and see them. Charlotte, 8th Avenue in the airport. Get you a cup of coffee, grab a pastry, breakfast burrito with it, and you will be ready to go on a Thursday. A Friday Junior, one might say.
One-stop shop, man, at 8th and Roast, man. Get you some Wi-Fi if you hadn't paid your phone bill. Do all those types of things, man.
Absolutely.
Work done.
That's Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh. I'm just Will.
There it is.
He's just Will. All substance doesn't need the thrill. Is it his destiny to live and talk about this Tennessee Titans team? He's just Will. When he's in the swamp, he gets violently ill. What will it take for them to see the man behind the bland in Pantone 151C? He's just Will.
615-737-1045, the number.
He did that one day, like in a break.
On a break.
I'm going, what?
On a break, man.
We were
In
on
this
a
economy?
break.
That's what I'm saying.
What can I say? When you're good, you're good, man.
True. Do what you want when you're
Bert.
popping.
Say what y'all want to about Bert, man. The man, whatever you got going on in your head, Bert, I love it, okay? I'm here to embrace Sir Bert,
Embrace.
okay?
You'll
I
have
like
all the
that.
credentials I introduce every hour, and then I just have theme songs. It's great.
Man is a genius back behind the
True.
glass, man. He's good. And you're just Will. I'm getting no more simple than that, man. You know? Who are you? I'm just Will.
What a ballad.
What a ballad. That's exactly a ballad. And you can't just ask for a ballad either. Like, Bert just crafted that up, you know, just out of love, out of needing something to do. That was
Exactly.
it.
It's great.
That was it. Way
That's
to
what we do.
go.
What's what we do on Arcade Dub.
He's just Will.
I need the double voice drop of "He's just Will."
Yeah,
just,
when you
just,
doubled it was great.
just the
It
voice.
was really
though.
good. Really, really good. That's inside baseball right there.
And see, if you ask me to do something, I probably can't do it. But if it's something that I can like passion project and just go dive into, it's going to get done.
Bert could solve the country's problems if he was like gently nudged to do something.
Right? If they were like,
If you were asked to solve world hunger, it's like, don't see any scenario of that. But it's like, Robert, a lot of these people are hungry. You know what? I have an idea.
Let them eat cake.
Yeah, that was good.
You are bordering on the efficiency of a Chick-fil-A drive-through every time that you do these things.
My pleasure.
They are so good at it. They are. Yep, and Bert, you're spot on again.
615-737-1045 in the F&M Bank chat, where you can watch the show on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So Sean McDonough on the call for Tampa Bay and Texas. Texas Rangers sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays in Tropicana Field in front of a light crowd. This was crazy yesterday. Listen to this audio of Sean McDonough about the crowd in Tampa.
And on to third goes Sager. And some boos starting to come down from the group. I'm not sure we could call it a crowd. The group here at the Trop.
The group. That is the kind of just jab to the heart. This team is getting swept out of the playoffs on its home field. They won their first 13 games of the season, the Tampa Bay Rays, in front of a group. A group. At Tropicana Field. They were 13-0 to start the season. Now, not only have they been swept out of the postseason by a Texas Rangers team who has not been there in quite some time, and now they have to go home in St. Pete, and they're called a group.
A group.
A small school.
They were, the announced attendance was about 19,000 to 20,000. The Braves had as many as that in their scrimmage, inter-squad scrimmage, getting ready for the Phillies.
Oh, my.
The past couple days. Not actually, but
still.
Wasn't far off.
That's tough for that coalition of fans that decided to attend that game.
That's tough right there. That's tough.
And no, they're not coming to Nashville. For all of you asking in the F&M Bank chat.
Tampa. No, they actually
not going to happen, so quit asking.
Please, I'm so tired of that. I mean, they just announced they're building them a new stadium, first of all. They probably could have done without the Wander Franco jerseys and the rendering of the new stadium. Did you guys see that?
No.
They did a rendering of their new stadium they're going to build, and they have a guy wearing a Wander Franco jersey in the rendering of the stadium. The guy who has now been suspended for a relationship with a minor.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, probably something you should maybe check and make sure you don't have guys in Wander Franco jerseys and animated rendering. You know,
Lord.
Anyway.
Not okay, Will.
MLB not in expansion mode. I feel like we have to give this disclaimer a lot. Baseball in Nashville would be fun. We are nowhere near that happening in Nashville, unfortunately.
Yeah, not right now.
Unfortunately.
Scenario of that happening.
I wish it would.
I mean, I'm a fan of it too, but we're not in place to do that. Heck, they got more buildings to put up before they do another stadium.
I think Major League Baseball would love it, but the group here that currently wants a team does not have near the amount of zeros, in my opinion, to make that happen. Unfortunately, we'll call it like it is.
Yeah,
we'll champion it if it's ready to be championed, but it's not ready yet.
And expansion, maybe years down the line, but this town needs a little bit better infrastructure as far as roads,
100%,
public transit. And I was anti all of it. I'm like, make it happen. And then you get in traffic after games. You're like, okay, we can't make this happen right now.
Yeah, we need a sphere first. They need to give us a Vegas sphere here.
We do need that.
A sphere.
Yes, we do.
That thing is incredible.
Crazy,
we
yeah.
need it.
It is pretty cool.
How do they do that?
It costs like $2.2 billion to make that thing.
I'm sorry, billion?
Why not?
With a B.
With a B, yeah.
I saw the price for it too. If you want to advertise on it for a day, it's like $450,000, but you can get the week for $650,000.
Sure,
you can get the week.
Good deal.
Wouldn't you want
Heck of
the
a
week?
deal.
I mean, for an extra $200,000,
Could put our new logo with the Brewed by Eighth and Roast at the bottom of it.
for a week long.
There you
Don't
go.
tempt me with a good time.
I've got some money in my Venmo.
I can shake out the couches. We can figure this thing out.
I can get in my piggy bank.
You see what I'm saying? Break it. Let's go.
Got a few pennies in
We
there.
got easy $650 in this group.
Hayden in the F&M Bank chat says, if you can't put the stadium downtown, then don't do it.
That's
When
fair.
it comes to baseball.
You can put it in Hendersonville.
I think-
Simply Sumner.
Simply, I think the closest they were
Well,
looking was TSU campus.
Please
For
welcome to the
baseball?
field your Hendersonville Hornets.
Oh, man. Hey.
What? It'd be cool.
Take a surprise. The Hornets?
That was going alliteration. What?
Wilson, be cool.
That'd be cool.
What is going on with this dude today, man?
Cool.
You get him one theme song, and then he's just off the rails today, man.
That's a ballad. That's a
The
ballad.
The Hendersonville
Get it right.
Hornets. Would be
The
great.
Hendersonville Hornets is not a baseball team we're looking to have with a stinger coming out on the jersey. Like, I like the idea of, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
When I make fun of Hendersonville, it stings, doesn't
Ramon, you could just
Yeah, it
wear your old
does.
Pittsburgh Steelers throwbacks.
No, because Will hate those too.
it? Yeah, I do hate those. I'm on the record.
Yeah,
Those are
those
terrible
too.
throwback jerseys.
I don't think I lost in them, though.
I don't care about that.
Do you still have
I don't
it?
care how many games you won. You look bad doing
Can
it.
you wear it for Halloween here?
The ugly win, it still looks good, baby.
Yeah,
What you
that's
say,
fair.
Caitlin?
Can you wear it for Halloween? Do you still have that one?
Absolutely. No, it's hanging
have it
up. I don't want
framed,
to take it
yeah.
off the wall. Yeah, I don't want to take it off. Sure.
Y'all have Halloween costumes picked out yet?
We didn't make that decision.
What do you mean?
Have
I
you
said
guys
I was
seen
going to be
Naked
a
and Afraid?
meme. I have not.
Huh? Have I seen Naked? Oh, yeah, I have seen that show.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. That's what. Nope. No, I will be in a big furry costume, whatever I decide to wear. We will not be on that adventure.
It's on a Tuesday, though. Like, we could hypothetically dress up and come to work.
We could.
I'm thinking about being a
Done it
meme.
before.
I don't
A
know which
meme?
meme I want to be though.
Not a mime, a meme.
Oh yeah, of course. It's like it's a trend now. If you like go
Okay.
a Halloween costume as a meme, like the picture of The Rock in the black turtleneck with the chain and the fanny pack and
Oh, yeah,
jeans,
yeah.
like go like something like that.
That's not bad.
Should I go as Pat McAfee?
You should. I think so. You can cut off sleeve shirt.
Just get you a
gold
chain.
with a
Just start
Rolex.
saying-
Just need a black tank top
And then
a
I'll
chain.
just rail on Washington State all day.
Sure.
I mean,
Perfect.
There you go.
that
works.
That's at your
All right.
disclosure.
There
Right?
we
Anything
go.
else?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, I think that's it.
I'm not a Halloween costume guy though.
I
Unfortunately.
will be.
I bought a Mr. Incredible bodysuit at Goodwill about 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to be Mr. Unincredible. So everything I do is just going to be very average.
So you're gonna stink like that day?
Yeah. And
Perfect.
everything I do that day will be awful. I like the muscles that came with the suit, but I don't know if I can pull off the Mr. Incredible.
You want to talk about Mrs. Met? Let's talk about Miss Incredible now.
Coming up.
I did think about doing Ron Burgundy. Come in a red blazer with a fake
that would
mustache.
be good.
That would be real good.
You
Have
can
some
mess with
fake
your
scotch.
prompter?
Yeah, right.
What?
Perfect. Ramon, you know what that's
I'm
about.
Ron
I'll read
Burgundy?
anything
I'm
on
Ron
that screen.
Burgundy?
Yeah, 100%. I
I'm not
pray.
even upset. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'll be hoping.
With a
Rob-
whole
Scotch,
wheel of
scotch.
cheese.
I'm not even upset.
Sure was filling.
I
You could
promise
bring
you, we will
scotch to the show,
talk
too.
about the Titans coming up.
I love scotch.
Scotch.
Down into my belly.
You know what else I love? Beating the Colts 4 years
Have
in a
we
row
talked
in
sports
Indianapolis.
today?
We have
Oh,
for
okay, I
like
forgot.
99% of the show.
Just a
Oh,
little
good,
bit. Just
okay.
a little bit. Little bit.
I thought I was like in my living room right now.
Randall in the F&M Bank chat says Kayla should be Brittany Mahomes. Kayla,
Oh.
your thoughts?
Do I need to come after you, bro?
Fight them. You should.
Don't let me come after you.
Randall
Fight
and Pat McAfee down horrendously. Coming up, sound from the Titans locker room. Q&K's, NPF, Kyle Phillips speak, and up in Indy, Jonathan Taylor not speaking to anybody's equivalent of Q&K's in Indy. We'll dive into the sound you might have missed yesterday afternoon coming up.
The future of joint pain relief is here. It's called QC Kinetics, Advanced Regenerative Medicine, and this is amazing stuff, y'all. It's Ramon Foster. If you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, don't be so fast. Get a second opinion and learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. I'm talking lasting relief. QC Kinetics doesn't mask the pain. These treatments go to the very root of the problem, using concentrated healing properties placed directly in your joints to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Imagine living life this fall with no more pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, your back, with no drugs and no downtime and no surgery. Listen. Life is all about motion, and QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back with these all-natural treatments. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. Call QC Kinetics now, 615-249-4024, 615-249-4024.
RKW is brewed up by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. Coming up in 1 hour, our picks for the football weekend. If you missed that, if you missed Coach Mack early this morning, or anything on the show every morning, you can find us wherever you download podcasts, Apple, Spotify. Leave a rating while you are there. Maybe a little something in it for you that we'll come up with if you leave a 5-star rating. Who's to say? Maybe some coffee we could send your way.
Yeah.
I'll work on something.
Some whole beans.
Impress us in the Apple Podcasts rating, and we'll get you some 8th and Roast. How about that?
I like that idea.
Okay, perfect.
Give me some more here in a second.
Send you a bag of coffee to let you know how good it is.
Whoever leaves the best fake review.
There we go.
Or if you like us, just say you like us.
No, you know how people be like, oh, thanks for, if somebody's hitting on somebody, they'll be like, oh, thanks for letting me borrow your Lamborghini the other day. Or like,
Yes,
thanks for saving my dog from that burning building.
Ramon Foster lets me drive his Ferrari anytime I want to. He
Right?
is such a nice guy.
You're welcome.
Kayla saved my cat from a burning building last week, and I'll always love her for it.
Robert gave my wife CPR, and now she doesn't call me back.
Hey,
Wow.
man.
You mean Mrs.
That
Matt?
escalated quickly.
She needed saving.
What if she don't want to be safe?
That's always been my problem.
It's a her problem.
You shouldn't save any of it.
Leave us a comment. We'll give you a bag.
Coffee. Coffee. That's
Yeah,
what
there will
we're
be
giving
coffee
back.
beans in it. Let's get a Q&Ks and start with Nicholas Petit-Frere back at the practice field and back talking to reporters yesterday. This was him meeting with the media after practice or before, whichever.
I'm just trying to reacclimate back with the unit. Like, that's the main thing. I'm just trying to rebuild the relationships that I had with the team because I was away for a few weeks, and I just want to rebuild and regarnish all the things that I had and all the great relationships that I had. So that's kind of the main emphasis for me right now is rebuilding where I was and being able to keep growing from that point.
How tough was it to sit out and watch every day?
I mean, it sucked. I mean, like, that's the main thing. Like I said, that was the main thing I wanted to do. I wanted to be here. I wanted to be part of the team. I never wanted to put anyone in jeopardy. I never wanted to hurt the integrity of the NFL. So I just felt that, you know, when I was away, that it was tough for me not to be around there. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that they took away some games, so I'm able to be back here quickly and be able to do more with the team beyond the practice field.
What do you learn when you're sitting on the sideline, sitting at home, I should say? Can you learn anything from that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching the plays, and I know what the plays are going on and stuff like that. So I was able for me to really think about, like, some of the gaps, some of the schemes that we had and, like, things that we're doing right, things that we can improve on, and things that I can work on the side for myself. But I'm like, oh, I probably would have missed that, or, oh, you know, this is something that I think that we're probably going to work on as we get to when I come back and I get reacclimated.
Were you surprised when you got the news that they had cut the suspensions in half?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was definitely surprised. Like, I mean, I learned at the same time everyone else did. I mean, I had no idea what was going to happen. I was ready to work for the 6 weeks I was going to be gone and, like, try to reacclimate as best as I could at that point and then keep it going. But, I mean, I'm grateful and blessed to have this opportunity to be back earlier with the boys.
What do you feel like you've got to do to, you know, kind of reestablish yourself here since you have been gone?
I got to reacclimate with the team. I got to do the right things. I got to work out every day. I got to make sure I'm watching film. I got to make sure I'm in my playbook. And I just got to be the best teammate that I can be. That's what I did last year. That's what I'm going to do this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Nicholas Petit-Frere yesterday.
Yeah.
Kayla, who was working to the left of Peter Skronsky a bit. What did you make of that?
You are correct. I think that's the first thing we all noticed in the small amount of time we're able to watch practice was that. And look, he originally, you know, he's played on the left side in college.
Yeah.
He's kind of bounced back and forth, but I make a little of it for the fact that we just were talking about in a situation now that you've got a little depth. If something does happen, maybe you're more quick to pull the trigger and make a move. And why not start him working there, right? That's the side you know needs help.
It is.
So specifically, what did you see? Because I think it's important to clarify, too, that people on Twitter run amok with the fact that Nicholas Petit-Frere is at left tackle. Obviously, in season, we don't get to see all of practice like we do in training camp.
And in certain situations was side by side doing some individual drill work. When they do stuff early on, that's what we see. He was side by side working with Peter Skronsky.
So
in
just
certain
the two
situations.
Of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Andre was still in there in certain situations too.
Sure.
But yes, there were some situations where he was side by side with Skronsky.
Is it realistic, Ramon, to say that maybe those two are working together because they're both twos right now? As Skoronski also works his way back?
I think it's because Skoronski working himself back more. That spot, to me, left guard is Skoronski's, period. It's the kind of the way I look at it. It's just unfortunate that he got, sick and had to have surgery during the season. The way I look at this situation is he has a familiar guy on the squad with him that he's had some reps with and somewhat in preseason. And to have that caliber player next to you while you both get back acclimated to the actual game speed and how you need to work, I think it's solid. NPF is going to work beside anybody who's available. The thing is, everybody that's there is potentially a starter or has played for this team. It's just unique that it's Peter and it's not Dylan Radens. It'd be the same thing if Radens was running with the twos right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Peter's going to play this weekend in his starting spot. Just to get him back again, to throw him back fresh off of it. We see the same thing that happened with Cooper Mays. I think he was ready to go, but it's a matter of how ready is good enough. Right. And when you got guys that have played well enough, with I'll say Radens for sure at that guard position, you feel a little bit more comfortable. You just get healthy is what you kind of tell a guy right now. When you're looking at Dilla's situation, it's always going to be a question mark that comes up because NPF is back. It's like the first-round quarterback. It's Will Levis and freaking Ryan Tannehill, right? Yeah. Or Malik Willis.
Or Malik.
I mean, even all three of them this year. Everybody's ready to get to the next one if one plays well. And I think it's better for this group to let NPF get his reps up, not rush him back in. We don't owe you a thing. It's kind of what I would tell NPF right now.
And the last thing you would want is to throw a guy back too quickly and then he's hurt and out for an extended period of time because you didn't ramp him up the way you needed to.
No doubt.
The other question I would have for you is, can you simulate a game environment mid-season without playing in a game, right? You have a lot of other sports that can do this. I mean, in baseball, a pitcher comes back, rehab assignment, right? There's some iteration of training camp that other sports can do, right? You can scrimmage a bit more full speed on, for a basketball player coming back, right? You can get back to that full contact. The way practices are mid-season in the National Football League, how difficult is that in today's NFL where practices are not very physical and not as maybe physically demanding as they are in training camp? And you also don't have preseason games, obviously, to get him some work.
Or a bunch of live periods. And the fact that you have to also go through game plans and not just reps to get somebody better. Right. Like, if they spend time trying to make sure that NPF is caught up to speed, then they're wasting time game planning for the actual game. That's the separator right there. Where it has to happen now is NPF has to get all the reps he possibly can from running with the twos whenever they get plays in. And here's the thing, when you run with the twos during the season, you might get 4 plays. So it's not a whole lot of work that he could get done in the game plan realm of him being back incorporated to this team. What he has to do is do all the scout reps. And then even after the fact, getting ready for the physical side of it, that's just going to happen naturally through the game. What he has to do more or less is make sure his conditioning is up. That's the one thing that he can control is how good of a condition am I in, because the physical side of the game, nothing's going to prepare you for. I don't care how many sleds you push, how many heavy bags you run and throw to simulate blocking, is not going to correlate over until you actually get into the game and get game speed and get hardened for football.
And part of this is, let's not forget, Mike Keith brought this up last week. Part of this is when you do build that chemistry like Peter Skoronski and Andre Dillard had started to do on that left side, that is part of it. Because when you get somebody new in there, there is different factors that go into what you're doing. And I know Teron Davenport and I were talking at practice yesterday. He wanted me to talk to you about this. And I'm curious about your, input on slide protection and just how everything works when you are on the line together, and talking about how as a guard you have to protect your tackles inside. I mean, these are just things that you don't even think about that they have to build. And when you get a new guy just put in there, things can change.
Slide protection is very unique. Some teams do it as a whole, on how they protect, on how they run their offense. Rolling out, bootlegs is slide protection. Max protection is slide protection. You slide, and here's the thing about slide protection is this. If we're correlating it to the entire offensive line, if you slide protect, that means there's a hide on the front side. So if they're sliding left, Tannehill has to watch his right because the left side should be good. And you got C gap, B gap, A gap, all the way across to the occurring to the last right tackle's B gap, unless you keep a tight end in or a wide receiver on the end man line of scrimmage or a running back that picks up a safety or a linebacker blitzing. The thing about the slide pro is this, though. Everybody has to be on to what they're doing, and you also have to either trust the tight end, the running back that has to pick up the open field guy, or the quarterback has to know where his hots are. The thing about it is, if you keep a tight end in, there's one more guy that's not out in a pass pro. There's one more guy that's not out in his routes when you break those things down. It's good, but it also forces you to play one side of the field at times too. And this is the other side of it too. You can have a man protection side and a slide protection side. We point off the mic sometimes to the right and slide left. And it is all about your one-on-ones and integrity, but that goes down from the center, left guard, left tackle, and everybody has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
When you're sliding that way, you don't go back in. So if a guy loops in, you have to trust that the center is going to be there and the guard is going to be there for the left tackle. It's more complex than to talk about it. Like, I almost need a red laser to kind of break this down.
You and Teron need to get on the whiteboard on his Whiteboard Wednesdays.
I missed Whiteboard Wednesday yesterday from him too.
Yeah.
But all in all, slide pros is good, but it really does handicap you if that's all you're doing. That's where I've always kind of lived in a sense, where the one-on-one blocking that you have to be capable of doing, that has to come first. Slide pro is a bonus. Or if we're sliding to one side, we have a Lenny call. That was our slide left. Lenny, I would post B gap, look to A gap. If nothing's outside of me, that's all your work. I don't care if you are getting beat. You got to go take the guy around, and I protect solely the B gap on this side, even if I have a one-on-one. O-line is more complex than big dudes in front of other big dudes.
Absolutely.
I think it's important to remember, too, that Nicholas Petit-Frere did not have a good preseason.
No.
He did not.
He was getting beat by backups in the second half. I don't think the clock has necessarily started for Andre Dillard to be replaced by NPF. I mean, is the leash shorter now for Andre Dillard because Nicholas Petit-Frere is back on the roster?
A little.
I don't think it is yet.
I think it's a little, but
I think if they're not going to throw Dylan Radins in there, then they're not going to throw in a guy who was struggling against 2s and 3s in the preseason in there after 1 week of full practice. Again, I still think they would right now put Radins in before NPF.
Radins at left tackle before NPF?
Because Skronsky is a full participant and getting back. I wonder if this is the last week you don't have Skronsky in there and you get him back again in London.
Going across the pond.
Or even after the bye week at the very least. I mean, against Atlanta, Skronsky should be at left guard at that point.
He should, absolutely.
If he's a full participant right now. But
there's a lot that has to be made up on NPF side. It is.
Yeah, there is. And at the same time, we have to also give Andre Dillard credit for a pretty solid day against Cincinnati. Wasn't perfect. Nobody on that offensive line was necessarily perfect, but he was good enough to crush the Bengals.
I go back to what I saw from him at let's go the week before versus Cleveland versus last week. He had a level of finish that I don't think he had much of. He was actually more responsive than he has been in the previous 3 weeks that he played at left tackle for this team. And public embarrassment will do that to you. People talking about how bad you are will do that to you too. Again, some guys have to learn to be pros and they develop later as pros too. Was it perfect? No. It was just simply better. But what also made that better for Andre Dillard and the left side was this, and just the entire line. They were efficient in the run. That was the huge separator right there. Yeah. You had Cincinnati come out and look like they was about to run this ball down the defense throat, and then they come back and do the exact same thing on offense. The running game is what opened up and allowed them to be better in the passing game. And I don't think people hear coaches say that enough. That's one of the main things that Heupel said about this team, right? Is the running game is where you lay your head. If you can confidently beat somebody up in the run, you can somewhat own them in the passing pro too.
Right.
Got to do it again this week.
Another player spoke yesterday at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park was Kyle Phillips, another player working his way back from an ailment. I guess NPF, not really an ailment, but just working his way back to being available. This was Kyle in the locker room.
that's the one thing that gets you kind of through it, just you're not able to play, but you're watching, all the guys you went through camp with and went through all these tough times are out there having so much success. So it brings me a lot of joy watching that, and now I'm happy to be part of it with them.
You were having a pretty solid camp up until the injury. You feel like you'll be able just to hit the ground running and pick up where you left off?
Yeah, absolutely. The coaches here have done a great job of just keeping me updated, what the game plans are. So there's no really catch up in knowing what to do. And then strength staff and all the trainers have done a great job just getting me healthy, getting me back into shape, leading up through all this rehab process.
Kyle, with you, what's kind of your goals here as you get back into action? I know consistency probably one of those things. You just want to be available.
Yeah, just be consistent, stay healthy. Obviously, you've gotten hurt a couple times, so just stay healthy and then just help the team win.
Does that frustrate you that you've had so many injuries you've gone through?
Definitely frustrating when it first happens, but control what you can control. Can't control what's happened in the past with those injuries, just what you do going forward, whether it's the rehab, all that stuff going forward. So
I know you want to contribute in any way, but in terms of just like that third down type of play, how much do you feel like you can, contribute in that situation?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I can help a lot, whether that's in run blocking or just, mismatches, finding the open hole in zone, stuff like that. I feel like I can definitely help.
How eager are you just to get back in terms of the return game and kind of prove you can take care of the ball and all of that comes along with it?
No, I'm ecstatic. It's been a while since I've really been able to play football, so I'm just excited to get back out there.
There's Kyle Phillips. It seems pretty upbeat and ready to go.
Yeah.
From all accounts. What have you seen from him and just kind of heard from him the past few days?
Yeah, so I know I told you guys a couple weeks ago I had checked in with him because I saw that brace removed, and I was like, he looks a little bit like might be ready to go. And sure enough, he's available this week. So I think this injury was a lot different than what he dealt with last year, guys. He had the shoulder last year and the hammy. And he said this was so much easier to recover from. It wasn't as big of an injury, but at the same time, he also learned from how to recover from an injury, not only physically, guys, but mentally. I think that was Kyle's biggest thing last year. He just didn't know how to deal with all that. Not playing a lot of football his rookie year, all the expectations that he kind of had after training camp, because he did show up and show out. And then you had the same thing happen this year. And instead of kind of turning it into a negative, you have to deal with what you have to deal with. And I think he's done a good job mentally just coming back ready to hit the ground running. And I really do think that's what he's going to do. He's got to stay healthy. That is something that you cannot sugarcoat. But I think he's mentally ready, and I think he can get out there and be a guy they could utilize in certain situations on third down. And I think in the return game, too, start off, just ease your way in. But if you can take care of the football, I think he can be something special back there.
He still is. I'm still holding out hope for him.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm naive and still thinking that Kyle Phillips can be a big part of this Titans offense. But, guys, the Titans GM and head coach were waving at the camera when they didn't draft a wide receiver for a reason, because they liked enough what they had and what they knew they could have, and DeAndre Hopkins, of course. But they liked Kyle Phillips enough to not draft Rashee Rice or Josh Downs or Jalen Hyatt, a number of slot receivers and smaller slots who were available. And they bet on the fact that Kyle Phillips can be a contributor for this football team. I still believe there is something there. And I think the Dylan Radin scenario teaches us to not give up on a player in their second season also.
Yep.
Honestly.
I agree with you on that.
Coming up, there is a fun new twist in the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift saga. The NFL has made a ridiculous request of its broadcasting partners.
Oh, gosh.
We'll talk about that coming up. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. Storms and changing weather can cause all sorts of chaos, including power outages. Look, if you lived in Middle Tennessee for any period of time, you know that the changing weather here, it's completely unpredictable, and chaotic is a kind way to put it. Well, have you considered what would happen if your home had no power right now? Well, I'm here to tell you, a home generator can make a huge difference. If the power goes out, a home generator will keep your heating and air conditioning system running, lights on, and the appliances working. You can also count on your phones and computers to stay charged. You can never miss a beat, and you can know what that radar is telling you about what else is coming your way via Mother Nature. Act now and receive $500 off or special financing for up to 36 months on a new generator for your home. That's $500 off or special financing for up to 36 months on a new generator. Visit leecompany.com/promotions or call 615-567-1000 to claim this great offer. That's 615-567-1000, online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. The praise is pouring in on a Thursday morning of RKW because I said the TS words. Taylor Swift. This story, less about Taylor, more about the NFL making ridiculous requests of their broadcasting partners. So I'm going to do very little to stroke the ego of Taylor Swift the way the NFL wants us to. This conversation, before you turn your radio dial, less about that, more about the league itself. So this story coming from the New York Post a few minutes ago that the NFL has asked its networks to show promos for Taylor Swift's upcoming movie for free. For free.
I believe that.
What?
ESPN and NBC said, sure. ESPN played Taylor Swift movie promos for her concert during Sunday NFL Countdown and Monday NFL Countdown. And then NBC gave a free promo on its pregame show, Football Night in America. Why is the NFL pandering to a part of the demographic and audience that doesn't spend money with them, first and foremost? This is a weird request for me.
I'm sorry, but that's crazy to me. I thought those spots, especially in prime time, like those are paid for spots usually by advertisers. And to give someone, even if it's one or two free, is crazy.
Valuable real estate.
Wow.
To say the least.
Do you think they're trying to butter her up to get her to accept the halftime
Super
show?
Bowl?
Because didn't she decline the offer?
A couple times.
So maybe they're trying to earn some good faith with Taylor's camp to potentially get her for the halftime show, but that still seems like reaching on their part.
That's what I was going to say. Is this the first time we're seeing the NFL bend the knee like this when it comes down to what they attract and what they're capable of? I saw the commercials and stuff. I didn't realize it was for free. I thought Taylor did it on her own.
That's what I thought.
And everything. I get the attraction. You're trying to get younger. You're trying to get those streams. People off their phones and watching what you guys do on Sundays and Monday nights and whatnot. I get it. But it's their parents. I mean, everybody I know now is speaking about either they're mad about Taylor Swift or they can't get enough of it. It's one or the other that's going on right now.
Yep. Fox and CBS, neither of them used the promo. They both said no.
Good for them. I don't know if we've ever seen anybody be able to do this. I didn't realize how big Taylor was. I mean, I get the songs. I've heard people brag about what she does and how she go about it and how awesome her concerts were. And to think about this, we got, Kelsey, Travis to thank for this too.
Yeah, at this point, they've gone overboard.
Mm-hmm. He said it, though.
It took 2 weeks for us to grow tired of it, and I'm tired of it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something we're going to cover. For all the people who complained in the FNN Bank chat the second I even said her name. Again, this story is less about her and more about the NFL trying to open up different avenues in order to make her a part of football in a bigger way. We're pushing back on that exact idea. I saw Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic had this big column about why we shouldn't gatekeep football. I don't think anyone is doing that as much as we are just complaining about the coverage itself. Like, I'm great if people who like Taylor Swift want to watch football.
Sure.
I don't think anyone actually has an issue with that. That feels a little bit like a straw man argument of making up an argument that's not really happening in order to then break that down. No one has an issue with 18-year-old girls watching more football. Who cares?
You know what it was? They lost Aaron Rodgers and what the Jets were supposed to do this year, and this is their supplement to it.
This was in the script?
This was in the script right here. Because think about how big the production for Hard Knocks was because of Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is the next storyline that they're just pivoting to right now. I get it because the NFL is all about growth and trying to make sure they expand this game as much as they possibly can. And if you're telling me young teenage girls is the demographic you're trying to bring in to watch football on Sundays, then so be it. It's all about the dollars the way I look at this one. I just don't know if Taylor or Travis Kelce wants this themselves. Like, to overimpose this as a company, I think it's kind of infringing upon your privacy a little bit. It's tons of stars that come to the games. They only show one time on TV, maybe 2 times. Every cutaway has been to Taylor Swift or something about Travis Kelce and his mom because of Taylor Swift. That's where you start to turn people off to it, to me.
Mm-hmm. And to me, too, like, businesses should appeal to their core demographics that make them the most money. Do you think a Taylor Swift concert is going to appeal to NFL fans? Like, are we gatekeeping that and saying, like, oh, well, you just don't want men to be a part of the Taylor Swift community. Like that,
I know numerous
same
dudes.
thing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, Aaron Rodgers went to her concert.
Like that's the thing. And this column is well thought out. Nicole Auerbach does a great job.
Yeah, she does.
She covers college football for The Athletic and
NBC now.
Is all around. But I don't think this is like gatekeeping fandom as much as it is when we watch football, we want to talk about football. Yeah. We want to hear about football. Yep. We don't want to hear about the entertainment side of it. If we want to do that, we'll seek out a podcast that combines the two, or listen to Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce's podcast. Like, this is, again, sports media is really good at alienating their fan base and trying to do things in order to widen the audience, and by doing so, alienating the core piece of their audience that actually spends money with them. It's just, it's bad business, genuinely, because you're alienating the people that actually are going to spend money on tickets and go to your games. Just like any business in the world should cater the most to the people who make them money. That's genuinely the way business works. I don't know.
I don't know. The NFL is the biggest and the baddest, right? In the U.S. To me, like, it's, why do they got to stretch this much? And this is coming from a woman who loves sports, obviously. And I want women to love sports and get involved in it. But you don't have to shove it down our throats.
Right.
To play devil's advocate, I know we got to go here really quick. I feel like they're trying to get new eyes on the product the same way that they bring Shakira in for the halftime show. They're trying to bring in the people who are from South America or whatever have you. They're trying to bring the new eyes, the unseen eyes to the product to potentially keep them. But that's not saying that it's not very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Ron Slay in the Evident Bank chat says, give us more Swift.
Give me more Puka Nacua.
DeAndre Swift?
DeAndre,
Slay?
yeah.
Is he on your fantasy team?
No, see, if it was Martha Stewart, that'd be a different conversation. I know.
Ron says Swifties attack.
Yeah.
You need to, if you haven't watched Stephen A. Smith's thoughts on The Golden Bachelor, by the way, it resembles Ron Slay on Martha Stewart. I'll just put it that way.
I love Martha Stewart.
If we did a Golden Bachelor minute on this show, that would bring the people in. That
I heard
would be
it's
good.
getting rave reviews.
It got 4.36 million views on the premiere.
Love it.
Yeah, pretty good. Coming up, we'll reset the Titans injury report, take your phone calls, and get to the fourth and final hour. That's next.
It's football season and it's time to switch to Zen Sports, the fastest growing sports book in Tennessee, changing the betting bonus game with their cash rewards program. When you sign up for Zen Sports with the referral code, earn a welcome bonus that gives you 5% cash back on your total betting volume for the first 15 days of betting. 5% back to you. Think about that for a second. On Zen Sports, too, if you keep betting, you keep earning. Earn up to 3% of your betting volume back every month with their cash loyalty program. What other sportsbook is rewarding you every month with cash and not credits or points? So stop wasting your time and money on other sportsbooks when you could be earning real cash rewards with Zen Sports. Download today on the App Store or at zensports.com. Your wallet will thank you. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. And you must be 21 years or older and present in Tennessee to bet.
What's going on? 9:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Thursday night football tonight on Amazon Prime with the Commanders and the Bears, but you can listen to that game right here on 104.5 The Zone. Commanders look to bounce back from an overtime loss to the Eagles, while the Bears are trying to overcome their own loss, a deflating one against the Broncos. Chase Claypool, Bears wide receiver, is expected to remain away from the team for the second consecutive game. Titans made some roster moves yesterday, promoting tight end Kevin Rader from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. Also yesterday, signing Mason Kinsey back to the practice squad. He was waived earlier in the week to make some room for some roster moves. Rader played in 14 games with 2 starts for the Titans last year. Titans actually had a pretty positive injury report for the first one of the week. While Traylon Burks and Tier Tart did not practice, Peter Skoronski, Kyle Phillips, and NPF were all full participants. Elijah Molden was limited with a hamstring injury. Indy's having a tough go of it, though. 8 players not practicing, including Mo Alley Cox, DeForest Buckner, Shaq Leonard, Quentin Nelson, and Quiddy Pay. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show is here already on a Thursday morning edition of RKW. We're brewed by 8th and Roast with locations on 8th Avenue, Charlotte, and the airport. 8th and Roast Coffee cultivates community by the cup. If you're heading into work, if you're running late from work, look, you've already got a list of reasons why you were late for something that was out of your control when in reality you're just getting coffee on the way there. It's okay. You can't function without it. You'll be more productive once you get it. Make it 8th and Roast Coffee this morning. And again, enjoy a bunch of options you've got. You got the dark roast, the light roast, iced coffee. You can go espresso. They've got some outstanding flavored latte drinks as well. The breakfast burritos, the pastries, the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
I hadn't had that.
Oh, my goodness. The biscuits are outstanding.
As my stomach's
My stomach is literally growling as I say
Yeah, mine
that.
too.
Oh, man. And we also got to get Coach Mack that gallon of cold brew, too.
That's right.
That's
Seriously.
necessary. Yeah.
He
I'm
needs
surprised
that
he
for
hasn't
his long days.
popped back in here and asked if it's here yet.
He asked me.
Oh,
Popped
okay,
in
cool.
here
Oh, did
and,
he?
Perfect.
Held me at fist point.
Do not mess with Mac.
I believe that. He went West Texas on you, man.
Coming up in 15 minutes, our Thursday 3 of the week. Robert leading the way at 10-5 after a 1-2 weekend last weekend. Kayla at 9-6 after another 1-2 weekend as well. I went 0-3, so I only have a 1-game lead on Ramon now. I'm 7-8 in third. Again, 7-8, respectable. We're about it. Ramon 6-9, bringing up the rear. A nice total to start the season. And you went 1-2 over the weekend as well.
Welcome to the shadows, Will.
So 3 of you went 1-2, and then I went 0-3.
That was not a good weekend.
So in other words, take the picks that we make coming up in 15 minutes and do the exact opposite. Again, it is as impressive to go 0-3 as it is 3-0. So you should be thanking me. 615-737-1045, the number. Titans injury report you just heard a minute ago from Robert. Who is the Titans reinforcement who makes the biggest impact most quickly? Kyle Phillips or Nicholas Petitfrere?
I think Phillips, for the fact that he's also a special teamer.
Okay.
And I think
Fair.
that from all that I could pick up from yesterday, he will be back there returning punts.
Kyle Phillips, just because there's more room for error with NPF than him or Peter either way because of the positions that they play. All he has to do is run a nice route and get open and catch. Catching the ball should be second nature to him. Stopping a defensive lineman trying to run through you and around you is a bigger task to have. I'd say definitely Kyle Phillips, man. I'm almost tired of talking about him. I really want to see what he's going to look like.
Right?
Like,
Sure.
This is the biggest anticipation I feel like ever for a player that can, you hope, move the chains often. You hope, give you a guy to say, man, we got one of those too. You know, not in the sense of like Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill was an X factor, kept the chains moving. You look at Kyle Phillips' role on this team, not Tyreek Hill, but a guy that you can find to be Jimmy on the spot at all times, man. Again, somewhat like a Puka Nacua.
Right. And the only way he's going to be able to do that and build off of that is if he is there.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. And so until I see that, and I hope I see that because I actually really like Kyle Phillips as a player, as a person, we don't know what to say, right? So until we see the health, we can't really see the consistency.
It's going to be the same thing, the same way you see a good Tannehill whenever he's got protection.
You can join the conversation in the F&M Bank chat, watching the show live on 104.5 The Zone TV. That's Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. AJ writes in, asking why the heck, we'll say for the sake of the radio, would they put Phillips back there to return punts? Are they that hecking dumb? Seriously?
Well, you're going to have to ask the coaching staff about that.
AJ then adds, do you see Puka Nacua back returning punts? Nope.
No,
well, who else is it going to be then if it's not Kyle?
Well, Kenzie's on the practice squad right now.
No
so.
other player you can put back there right now.
And is it worth carrying both Mason Kinsey and Kyle Phillips just so one of them can return punts? No.
You could bring up Shy Smith, who returned punts for Carolina last year.
Right.
So that's another option if you don't want to put him back there.
I know how this team operates under Vrabel. I feel like I've been there long enough. I don't think they're going to put someone else back there right now if they have Kyle.
Other than Kyle?
That's my observations covering Mike Vrabel.
Daniel asks,
different.
what's the status of Kyrus Jackson? Daniel, he is on IR at the moment.
Yeah.
Got to miss 4 games.
Yes. Thank you for clearing all that up, man.
And if Kyrus was available, can I say this real quick?
No,
if
go
Kyrus
ahead.
was healthy, I think maybe then we could have the argument.
Yeah,
right?
I think
Then we
so.
could maybe say maybe Kyrus is the guy back there and they keep Kyle is just a wide receiver and not utilizing the special teams.
Either way, in this, it's good to have options. It's good to even actually be able to have this conversation about who you're gonna, delegate to be the kick returner or the slot receiver. Like that's what we're looking at right now, man. This guy deserves a chance. Got healthy finally, and of course, Mason Kinsey's gonna always be there. I think you always look at this as like Kyle Phillips will actually be poached. Mason got cut and went right back to the practice squad to the same team.
Yep.
Kyrus Jackson, by the way, who's missed 2 games already. So he has to miss at least the Colts game and the Ravens game before he can come back after the bye week. And again, those are 4 games, correct, as well. That it's not weeks missed. You got to miss 4 games. So bye week does not count towards that 4.
No. So he'll be ready for week 7 whenever they get back. If that's the case.
Potentially.
Yes, potentially.
We spoke about this yesterday, and Ramon, you quickly answered first and said it's more important for him to be special teamer than receiver at this point. I could come around to that and say, for now, I want Kyle Phillips on the field returning punts and on 3rd downs. Keep it simple. Right?
Yep, you do. You keep it real simple for him. His primary role should be kick returner, punt returner, and that's all right. And again, everybody has a role to play on these teams. Think about the cast of characters in a movie. Not everybody's going to be the guy. Not everybody's going to be the main character. Supporting actors also win Oscars too. Like, it's okay to have a team of role players. You have your core players and you have everybody else that has to be your big-time player. D-Hop is not going to punt return. He's not going to kick return. So that's why you have guys like Kyle Phillips who are capable of doing those things that you're looking to get a return out of. It's clearly something there for them to demote Mason Kinsey. And Mason had a good return.
He did.
Okay, he's done some stuff that you say, okay, Mason, you've justified
And
your
Vrabel
reason for
said
being
that.
on the roster.
Yeah.
And with that being said, they still choose to go with Kyle Phillips. So, again, if you're choosing to do this, either they want to get the answers real quick about what Kyle Phillips is capable of, or Kyle Phillips is just that much better than what Mason is offering up. It's okay to say that. And it's okay to say that you don't like him as long as he gets the job done.
Well, and 2, I think at this point, you have enough options at wide receiver where, God forbid, if he were to get hurt.
Yeah.
You have other guys in that room where you're not left high and dry at the wide receiver position.
Exactly.
You haven't had him so far, and your offense looked just fine last week.
I agree.
At some point, a guy that is drafted to do a job has to do that job.
And I think this is the time. This is it.
And
now.
If he was muffing punts, that would be one thing.
Right.
Because then you're not doing the job based off of performance, not availability. I don't know. I feel like there are too many fans that have made up their minds about Kyle Phillips a bit too quickly.
But that same portion also loves what Mason Kinsey can do for you, too.
I don't know if those are the same people.
You don't think
I'll
it's
push
the
back
same
on
people?
that. No,
and
I
this
don't.
is not an anti-Mason Kinsey tangent, but it's just like one can be okay with having both.
I think it's the injury thing with Kyle.
No,
People
100%.
People are just like, he's not going to be healthy ever.
Want to see him.
Right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Slay in the F&M Bank chat says, why do I feel like Savage just likes saying Puka Nakua? That's 100%
Don't call me out on what I like to do, Savage, over these airways, man. What is wrong with you,
Well,
man?
but you
I do.
responded
Puka
in the
Nakua.
chat and said, LOL, I do.
I
So
know.
he's right.
Puka Nakua. I love it. It sounds like
Ramon
you'd be like
loves saying an entertaining name more than oxygen.
I do, man. Unless I can't get it right, because we've been going through a name all
Should I out you
this
on this?
week. Samson Ebukam.
Ebukam.
Oh, my gosh.
Samson Ebukam and Xavier
Ebukam.
Newman are the tough ones for you.
Don't get me started on
you say
Xavier.
Xavier.
But why do you put an X on his name? Put a Z in front of it then if you want to just be
Have
Xavier.
this conversation with
in front
Xavier.
of an A.
It's Xavier.
That's the way the English
What's-
language works.
What's the university name?
Well, yeah,
Xavier.
What's the professor from X-Men? Professor X Xavier.
Thank you.
Well, and
Word.
they do call him X.
X. So they call him X, but he pronounces it as Z.
That's what the pronunciation guide
Do
says.
you want us to call you Armone Foster?
No.
Yeah, well, then that's the same thing.
No.
You're saying the name of the letter, and then you're saying the rest of the name.
No, we're not.
Armone.
You just threw on a Z in front of the X, and well, just take the X off.
The English language doesn't make sense. It's not our fault.
So you gonna get mad at me for saying
I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying
Xavier?
these are the ones we're having conversations about.
Zay? I've seen Xavier's be called Zay. Okay, that's after the fact.
I think Armon has a great point here.
I do too.
Armon?
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. You better off saying
Our Albert.
we better off just saying Raymond. There it is. I'm
Okay,
Raymond.
all right. Everybody loves Raymonds. That's great.
No, they
It's a
don't.
good show.
That's actually the irony of the show right there. No, they don't. They hate them. I'm done.
You don't want to help. You just want to yell.
I do. You're right. You're right. We're gonna go.
You're like a dog that just wants to bark just for the sake of barking.
That is me.
You and Zeus.
My dog don't bark though, man.
That's true. That's true.
Unless there's something going on.
Coming up Thursday 3 to make you money or, maybe lose us money, but make you money for picking against us. That's next on RKW. RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. Locations on 8th, Charlotte, and the airport. 8th and Roast Coffee cultivates community by the cup. 615-737-1045, the number, as we give you our Thursday 3 picks against the spread, against the totals. In the world of football this upcoming weekend, college or NFL is what we will give you in a moment. But first, guys, an announcement from Tennessee and Danny White. The Vols will checker Neyland against Texas A&M.
Hey, let's go.
I guess they're saving the orange out game like they did for Bama for Georgia in November.
What time is the A&M game?
2:30 Central Time.
Okay, that's 2:30 Central. Okay, so
right here on 104.5 The Zone, courtesy of the Vol Network. Which means 8:30 London time for us.
Run it up. I'll take that.
If anyone knows how to get CBS in America in London, please slide in my DMs. Thanks so much.
Do you have a VPN?
See, I already looked that part up. So basically, Paramount Plus has all CBS broadcasts. And Paramount Plus is available, it says on their website, in the European Union. However, obviously Great Britain, famously not in the European Union anymore. Shout out Brexit. So I don't know, like they're in Europe. We'll be in Europe, but we won't be in the European Union. I'm skeptical that Paramount Plus will be what I need to work. But we'll see.
CBS. Golly.
There's a 0% chance we find a pub showing Tennessee, Texas A&M in Islington.
Not even on our streaming devices? Not capable?
No, I'm saying it's going to have to be on our devices. Like I'm saying we're not going to find it in a pub, like on a TV.
Might be do it. Hit up Michael. See what he can figure out.
Michael.
Yeah.
Our Michael.
in London.
That calls in.
Yeah.
He might be able to help us out.
Might
Oh,
be
he gave us his phone number, by the way, if you guys wanted to text him. It is 444-555.
Did you get that answer for me?
I did not.
Jeez, Ramon.
I did not get that answer for
What are
you.
you doing, man?
Oh, never mind. Y'all are ridiculous.
I know, we are.
Ramon's asking foolish questions in our group text.
I'm always going to break the ice, okay?
Don't share things with the group that can't be shared with the rest of the class.
I just want to break the ice, that's all. Introduction to Michael, what he's getting himself into. That's
Who
all.
would like to break the ice and give their first bet?
I would.
Go back to
You've
front.
gained ground, so go for it.
Hey,
6 and 9, Ramon Foster.
That's crazy. Was that last? I'm in last place?
You're in last still. Yeah, that's right.
Stop it, Bert.
Well, it's because you put yourself behind the 8 ball because you, out of spite, picked against Dave Clawson when they played Vandy. That was one game you missed.
That's fair.
Summer of
It was worth
You knew it, though, in the moment.
I'm going to put $2 on it, so that's fair.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Pick one, please, Ramon.
Let's go to the Red River Shootout, man.
Wow.
It's Red River rivalry now, Ramon. Come on. Gonna get
say
canceled.
that either.
But it
Can't say
could
shootout
be
anymore.
a shootout.
That's it. Yeah, legitimately, that
could
Red
be a
River shootout has
shootout.
been canceled.
That's fair.
Kind of
Red
crazy
River
to me, but
rivalry. Here we go, and I respect that. Texas OU. I'm actually taking Texas. Texas is a better team.
-6.5.
I saw -6.5.
Wow.
All right.
No, the ESPN Football Power Index has Oklahoma by a point.
And that's why I'm going against it.
Okay.
I don't see Texas slowing down. I love the fact that Texas run the ball really, really well. If they can control the ground game, they win this one in this rivalry game right here. So I got just simply Texas this week because of their running game. And Venables will bring out a solid defense, but I just think they're better.
Okay. If we're going back to front, then I'm in third at 7 and 8 this season, so I'll go next. Give me the over in LSU, Missouri. Over 64.5. I don't feel confident enough to take Missouri as a home dog against LSU. I feel like this is a get-back game for LSU, but I'm not confident enough to wager on that. What I do know is that the total has gone over in LSU's last 9 games and 4 of Missouri's last 5. Good enough for me. Over 64.5 LSU, Missouri. LSU has missed 5 more tackles against Ole Miss just since we started the show this morning.
Yeah, right.
Kayla, next up.
All right, so I am going to go with college first, and I am going to take it to the Pac-12. Clearly follow a lot of that back west. And last week, Colorado, obviously with a loss to USC. But, man, a little bit of a comeback there in the end in terms of pushing them to the end a bit. I was kind of impressed with just the ability to do that. This week, they're at the very, very terrible Arizona State Sun Devils. I mean, I'm talking about a program that, in my opinion, along with Stanford, I'd put there at the bottom of the Pac-12. And it's not close, guys. Arizona State has lost 4 straight, and they barely lost to California, who is also a really bad team last week. It's just a team it's in transition yet again. The quarterback situation, we've seen a lot of the transfers that have gone out of Arizona State. Some that have come in, and it's just not panning out. And I know Colorado's defense isn't great, but Sun Devils' offense is not anything to write home about. So I am going to take Colorado minus. I believe it's at 4 right now. It might have moved up to 4.5.
I thought I saw it at 5.5. Let me check.
Oh, I didn't know it was at 5.5. I checked last night; it was at 4, but
let's see.
Could be wrong.
Survey says. I love how well
live research, baby. Let's go.
Harder to find because you can't. There was a tab on certain betting apps that just always said Colorado, which was funny to me.
Oh, wow.
Colorado is, I really thought it would take not as this long to search this. 4.5, minus 4.5.
Yeah, so I'll take them at 4.5.
There you go. Okay. Colorado minus 4.5 at Arizona State. Robert Walsh leading proceedings at 10-5 this season. Outstanding.
I bet on a home dog last week. I thought Syracuse could hold off Clemson. It blew up in my face, and I did not learn my lesson. I'm going to do the same thing this week. And I'm also going to the ACC. Mm-hmm. Jeff Brom has done an incredible job with Louisville after Satterfield left for the Cincinnati job, where he is exploding in front of everyone's eyes. Louisville has been really good with first-year coach. So I think at home they can handle Notre Dame. I don't think they win it, but I think they keep it close enough to make this work. I've got them at +6, so I'll take Louisville at home.
So this was one I considered because you've got some crazy trends going against each other in this one. So Notre Dame, you guys know I've bet against multiple times this season. They burned me both times. They burned me with a friggin' 2-point conversion at the end of the game over the weekend. Otherwise, I would not have been 0-3 when I picked Duke. Notre Dame is 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 on the road. Notre Dame is 10-0 against the spread in their last 10 games against an ACC team, and 5-1-1 against the spread in their last 7. Meanwhile, Louisville has covered in each of their last 7 home games. So
something's got to give.
I know it is genuinely a something's got to give game. I thought about that one hard. I even put down Notre Dame, and then I changed it for the pick I'm about to make in a second.
All right then.
Mm-hmm.
You back up, Ramon.
I'm back up. I'm going Bama versus Texas A&M. The spread right now is -1.5 Alabama. I'm actually taking A&M on this one, +1.5. And it's for this reason right here. That defense is showing up somewhat. Bama's winning is all about the run game as it stands right now. Jalen Milroe isn't known to be a passer. I look at the way A&M is playing. You go to their stat line and says this. They have the number 2 rush defense in the SEC as it stands, only giving up 96.2 yards a game. Because of that, I'm siding with the home dogs on this one by picking A&M to win this one and also give Saban an early 2-loss season.
So you are going with both the Texas teams, Texas and Texas A&M.
Yes, all my picks live in Texas.
Okay, that's why you hang your hat in Tennessee. I'm going to go in the SEC as well with the Ole Miss Rebels, -11.5 over the Arkansas Razorbacks. Guys, Sam Pittman is in trouble at Arkansas. Uh-oh. That team is lifeless. KJ Jefferson is as talented of a quarterback as there is in the SEC. If everything was right, everything is not right with Arkansas. Their loss to A&M over the weekend. Ole Miss in that environment. I think it's another hostile game for a road team in Vaught Hemingway Stadium. And I think Ole Miss proved with as many points it can score. I don't think Arkansas can keep up. Mm-hmm. Give me Ole Miss -11.5 at home against the Pigs.
Okay. For my next pick, I'd like to announce I'm taking my talents to Miami.
South Beach.
That's right. Where they'll be hosting the measly, disgustingly bad, not Danny Dimes, Danny Pennies.
Oh.
Giants.
Oh, okay. NFL. I thought you were talking about, okay, yes.
Yeah, I'm headed to the NFL now.
Okay.
And I'm going to take Miami at -11. Now you can, if
it's at -10.5 where I
yeah,
see.
baby.
So you get a half point.
Give me it. Give me that dime and a half. I just think Miami's not happy with their performance last week against Buffalo, where they did not look like the Miami we've seen them be to start the season. The Giants are awful, and we've had this discussion, so I don't need to go deep into it. Let's go. Minus 10.5, Dolphins. Fins up.
Don't hate that at all.
Love it. Robert?
Y'all, I think this is the week I bet on the Titans.
Oh, okay. All right.
I love a good divisional matchup. I love the way this Titans team, it seems like they're hitting their stride coming into their first divisional game, and they're getting healthy at the right time, getting a lot of guys back. I just love this matchup, and 1.5 on the road, I think they cover that. So I'm going to take Titans to win by 1.5.
There is something to be said about teams that are marginal favorites away from home end up doing pretty well in the grand scheme of things. I do think that's it's just tough. Because I worry for the Titans' perspective that the Colts are due for a get back at home.
Oof.
It's just hard to beat a team 5 times in a row on the road in division play. But I do, in theory, think that's a good pick. Because I do think the Titans, if they come out of the rest of this week healthy and Indy is as banged up as it appears they are, have a really great shot. And we'll talk more about that, of course, tomorrow. Okay, 2 picks down, 1 to go.
All right, here we go. Last game I picked. I went with premier games this weekend, man. I got to be proud of myself on this one. This one is Georgia, UK. This one's fascinating to me. And I've taken my emotions out of it of wanting to see Georgia get beat and also hating to see Kentucky win, if that's the case, too.
Yeah, lesser of 2 evils.
I know,
for you?
But I'm picking one as it goes, man. Give me the 14.5 to UK.
I was
Going
curious.
plus
if you would do
14.5 on that one. It's for this reason. Again, Georgia starts slow and finish fast with how they go about these games. Their lack of passing is going to be something to watch in this game. And for these reasons that break down for me with Kentucky. You know who has the number 1 run defense in the SEC? It is Kentucky. Giving up 75.8 yards a game. That's going to be fascinating, specifically if the quarterbacking for UGA doesn't stand tall. This ain't a diss on UGA, on the Bulldogs. This is your ship isn't rowing in the same direction as far as the talent that you have. Beck is, I think, a good quarterback coming out of high school. Carson Beck, right? That's his name?
Yep.
You're right.
But I don't trust him all the way through a game unless he's finding Brock Bowers. If they are smart enough as a defense for Kentucky, you find a way to double the stars, and that star is Brock Bowers, and you do what you exactly do every weekend, and that's stop the run. I don't see them winning by more than 14.5. UK, give me the points.
Interesting. Okay. I keep waiting for Georgia to wake up and be Georgia. And again, I've bet on them now, and I've bet against Auburn, another team I'm winless betting against this season. And I learned my lesson last week. I'm not touching that game.
Okay.
Not touching it. I don't know. I just think that Georgia team is a bit too unpredictable right now. Because if they figure out the first quarter, then I feel like they could win that game by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If they don't figure out the first quarter, they could lose at home. I mean, genuinely. So, not likely, but yeah, Georgia has not been good in the Vegas perspective at all this year, and they keep getting these big numbers.
And that's why it's called betting, too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go in the NFL with my 3rd and final pick at a team that is the best in the NFL so far this season and 12-3 against the spread in their last 15 games. Guys, anytime the San Francisco 49ers are a 1-possession favorite at home, I'm going to take it. I don't care who it's against. Minus 3.5. Hosting the Cowboys in primetime in Santa Clara. Give me San Fran. Cowboys 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games against the NFC West. The 49ers are 9-0 against the spread in their last 9 games. I'm going to ride them while they're hot. 49ers minus 3.5 over Dallas.
Will ready for a get-back week.
He is, man.
Yes, I am. I actually did less prep this time. I've been over-researching. There is a sweet spot to hit in gambling of knowing too many trends and just picking one and then riding with it. So I'm going with the teams and the trends that were overwhelmingly in one direction, and then I didn't look at anything else. I just said, put it on the board. Put it on the board! Yeah! Little Hawk Harrelson. Okay. Kayla, 3rd pick.
I'm going to stay in the NFL for this one. I liked the NFL this week more than college. So we've got a game in London. No, not the one we're going to. We're excited about that. But we have another one this week. The London Jaguars.
Yeah, home game for them.
Yes, home game for them. Unfortunately, despite them being the home team, maybe they will be permanently, I like where Buffalo is headed, folks. I feel like we've seen Josh Allen kind of hit that, okay, I got to wake up. This is a team I can win with now, but I got to lessen my mistakes and utilize this opportunity with the weapons I have around defensively, what they have. I think that I know the time change and all that stuff, but they're -5.5. I'm going with that. Buffalo.
Bills -5.5?
Yeah.
Okay. This is an interesting precedent to set, right? Because this is the first time a team has ever played 2 games in a row in London.
You're right.
And I'm interested to see what the advantage is of being acclimated for an additional week.
True.
Or also the disadvantage of being away from home that far in another country for an additional week. I feel like that could go either way. And we're going to overreact based on this one game to tell you what the trend actually is telling us.
Because you're right. This is the first time they've done that.
Right. I legitimately, I feel like you can make an argument either direction in terms of it being an advantage or disadvantage. So, okay.
Final pick. I'm glad all you guys have been betting with your head today because I've mostly been betting with my heart.
Perfect.
And that ends with this pick.
Could never go poorly.
Or continues with this pick, rather. The Ravens are -4 against the Steelers on the road in Pittsburgh this week. Since 2020, there has only been one game that the difference of score has been more than 4. And that was a 19-14 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another stat for you. Lamar Jackson against the AFC North. Lamar Jackson has a positive touchdown to interception ratio against every team except for the Steelers. He has 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I think he starts to set that trend correct this weekend. I have got... Also, I wasn't going to talk any crap until he started doing that.
Lean into the darkness.
They have a very populated injury report, a lot of offensive linemen. The Ravens' defense is getting hot. And Kenny Pickett, let's hope he throws a couple of those Picketts this weekend.
Is he even going to play?
He says he is. He says, I will be ready to play, is what he said yesterday at practice. So, be that as it may, I think Kenny faces a pretty staunch, aggressive defense. If he gets hit a couple times, I don't know what happens. Maybe this is the game that gets Matt Canada fired. Who knows? Just talking out loud here, but I'm taking the Ravens -4. -4 to figure this thing out.
You taking the Ravens -4?
So here's the thing. From the perspective of someone who grew up hating both these teams with a passion, other than Ramon, of course. I refuse to bet against the Steelers at home because this might be a double renegade game. This is the kind of game at home against the Ravens as a home dog. It's kind of like you never bet against Mike Vrabel as a home dog. You never bet against Mike Tomlin in the division as a home dog, in my opinion. This is a game where something crazy will happen, and they'll play that voodoo magic song by Styx. And they're going to play it, and then the Ravens are going to forget how to play football. And Lamar Jackson is going to run in the wrong end zone and take a knee and get a safety on purpose. Something stupid will happen. Bane will come up out of the middle of the field, like in Dark Knight Rises. Something stupid always happens when Mike Tomlin and the Steelers play as a home dog. Tell me I'm wrong, Ramon.
You ain't wrong at all.
It's a stupid song.
You ain't wrong at all.
I used to like Renegade.
I just told you guys the stats. I'm not betting with my head here. This is not a bet I would normally take. If you want to take a smart bet, take the under.
I was going to say the under is definitely the play.
Play on that, right?
I want to wear either the wreath of fame or the wreath of shame on Monday when I come in here.
I think it's okay.
The total is 38. Maybe don't bet the under.
It's too good.
I gotta find a way to make money.
You can.
Golden ticket idea. We should make an intro to this segment with that in it of I gotta make money off this. It's too good.
I do have some clips of you saying, guys, are we good at betting that I have nothing to do with? So I might have to throw those in there.
All right. The under has hit in Pittsburgh's 10 of Pittsburgh's last 14 home games, and in 5 of the last 5 games against Baltimore.
So just to go through the last 4 games, maybe the farthest one back, 20-19, that would go over. 13-16, that would go under. 16-14, that would go under. 13-16, that would go under.
Yeah.
So, in other words, go against all logic and bet Pittsburgh in the over.
Yeah, probably.
Genuinely, Pittsburgh. I might honestly sprinkle that just to say that.
Well, now I feel terrible. I thought we had a good game this weekend, and now I feel awful.
Well, no, it's just like I was going to bet that too, and then I had the same thought. Something about the Ravens spreads this year. I mean, they're 5-1 against the spread this season, and the one time was the loss to Indy. That one burned me.
That was
it burned you.
That was just weird.
I don't know. Yeah, you're like me.
5 fumbles, man. 5 fumbles.
I know.
Oh,
Daniel in the FNM Bank chat
you make it
says,
so hard to be nice to you, man.
Daniel in the FNM Bank chat says, is Matt Canada still calling plays? Take the under.
That's facts on that one, boy. Hey, something might happen in that bye week.
Hey, also, what's up with
Canada.
y'all's fat-ass punter? Is he going to play in this one?
I think so. I mean, you can't pull fat, so maybe he'll be back.
His hammy's hurt, is what I heard.
Aww.
Coming up, we'll wrap up the show and
Oh, God.
tell you about who Buck Rising's got coming up next. We'll do that and more. Wrapping up whatever chaos has happened today coming up.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. And if you have some things around your home that you've been putting off fixing for a little while, like a regular HVAC maintenance or clogged bathroom drain, Hiller has some big discounts for you this month. When the temperature drops and you start using your heater for the first time, you don't want to be dealing with breakdowns or issues, okay? This month, Hiller is offering half off HVAC tune-ups. And Hiller is also bringing back their $99 drain cleaning special for just $99. Yes, Hiller will get you back up and running ASAP, okay? These deals only last this month, so be sure to call. And Hiller's work is always backed by their, listen to it, happy you'll be or the service is free guarantee. It's that simple. Be happy with the work they do around your house, and they'll show you exactly how the work was itemized so you know what you're spending on. And if you don't like that work, it's absolutely free. If you have some issues around your house, whether it be plumbing, heating, cooling, or electrical, reach out to my friends at Hiller, happyhiller.com.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone as we wrap up the show. Coming up next, the Buck Rising Show. It's got Danico Autry on this morning.
Nice.
He's nervous about that, too.
Bucket? When has Buck been nervous about anything?
Because he don't know if Danico going to say much
Yeah,
or not.
Danico's a...
Oh, not again.
No, stop that.
Oh, come on.
What in the world is
Who is doing this?
What is going on?
Stop. No.
This is not happening again. Come on.
Wait, is this for real?
Is this real or are you doing this as a bit?
I'm doing it.
Son of
Stop.
a...
Okay, you have to actually. I don't think we can actually do that.
Come on.
That was good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, that was
You
terrible.
little
What a breaking
fibber.
news sound.
That was terrible. I hated that.
They were actually 2 minutes early yesterday, too.
That woke me up from a nap yesterday.
Same.
It happened to us as we were walking on the practice field
Oh, for real? Everybody's phone
Everybody's
went off?
phones.
Oh,
during
man.
stretch.
Well, we heard it the first time. We don't need to hear it again.
You sure I can play it again?
It is Halloween.
No.
It is
No, you sure?
Halloween.
You sure about that?
Are you sure?
Please
about
don't.
Spooktober.
Please
It
don't.
is.
Ugh.
I saw something. I'm not even sure we can say it on South Carolina. Their October month.
Yeah.
Y'all heard about it? I tweeted about it. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. It's called, well, they're the Gamecocks. They call it October Cockstober. I'm just like, what? This is something we want to stand behind?
Sure.
All right. Do they go undefeated in this month or what?
Well, I don't know. They're 2-3 now. Nowhere to go but up.
It'd be my team.
I could go so many places.
Yep.
Yeah, you could. I'm glad you're not. You could.
I'm a professional.
Gotta be a pro. But yeah, I didn't know that was a thing for them. Good for South Carolina.
Whatever floats your boat.
Coming up tomorrow morning, Voice of the Titans, Mike Keith, Brent Hubbs on a bye week. See if we can get more info on where Josh Heupel is recruiting this weekend. Always interesting.
Jet getting good use.
Real big time. They missed a couple weeks, I think, because of the sanctions over the summer. That last week or so
right.
before training camp, they weren't able to get much done. But they got some ground to make up right now. They need to be heading to Florida, to IMG Academy, to where the big tackle is at. You can't lose another one, man. It'd be good
Jordan
to have him.
Seaton, the guy,
Jordan
too,
Seaton.
who was in Knoxville over the weekend.
Yeah.
That was interesting just hearing Austin Price say Tennessee is a major player for Jordan Seaton now, the top tackle on the board in high school football.
Major players, all you want, man. It's fascinating hearing the stuff that comes out of Knoxville after players go up there and visit.
Right.
The environment is all they ever say. The camaraderie, the family feel that it gives you. And even as a VFL now on the other end of stuff, it is exactly how it feels because it wasn't like that at first. And that's something to kind of tip your hat over. A lot of coaches will tell parents, we're going to treat your kid like ours. You know, and some of them lie, and sometimes the kids cause that to be their issue too by missing class, failing drug tests, all types of things that happen. But the constant conversation out of Knoxville with recruiting is it feels like family. And if you're looking for that and that exposure, this almost sounds like a UT promo almost. But I love it.
Operators are standing by.
Because that was something they delivered on my end as a player going to UT.
Mm-hmm.
I could speak the same on the other end of the athletic department. You were at the top of the totem pole. I was at the very bottom on the sport that probably everyone cares the least about. But you keep hearing about it because here I am.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of me.
Yes, indeed.
Take that. Bears or Commanders tonight, guys? Who you got?
Commanders. I'm sorry.
Not
Pardon
even
me.
close.
I won't go against Terry McLaurin.
I think the Bears get right.
I was going to say, I might bet the
world?
Bears just as a sicko.
Yeah, that's exactly
You
what
guys
you
will be
want.
sickos
Fields
together.
Fields looked the best he looked
It was
all year
great.
last year.
It was really good. Chicago sports fans are going through it right now.
They are.
They
I'm
are
not, I don't care.
absolutely going through it.
I'm
And
sorry.
Sam Howell's not like great. He's not a world beater. Did he
Yeah.
have 3 interceptions last
4.
week? 4 interceptions last week.
Sacked 9 times in that game.
I don't know if the Bears can do that defensively.
Already
I'm
talking
talking
yourself
myself out of it.
Yeah, stop lying to yourselves on that one.
Joshua says, how much was in your in y'all's McDonald's bags?
Nothing.
Ooh.
I promise you that.
I got
Honestly, the way it was for me in like
Soggy
cross country,
biscuit.
I would probably have to pay them to let me on the team, more likely than them paying me because I was so bad.
I got the Baglers, those fries that escape the fry container. That's all I got.
Distance runners don't eat McDonald's. I'm trying to stay fit. You know?
Y'all go to McAllister's.
Yes,
love
actually,
McAllister's.
We had McAllister's Mondays
God,
after
this is
practice every
good.
Monday.
No free shout-outs, but yeah.
Back at it tomorrow morning at 6, Friday, and we'll act like it. And you should act like someone who's listening to Ramon's Foster's Words of Wisdom right
You
now.
must remember at all times, good people, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.